Going live. We're going live. Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 187. Robert's joining us to talk about some UFO cases. So we're just going to cue the intro, and we've got a new intro and the music. And I'll just do a few checks. Oh, come on. Sounds alright. And I'll unmute Robert. Hello, Robert. Music's playing. I'll pipe it to you. You should be able to hear it. YouTube's way behind. Oh, looks like you're playing it back. I can hear something. But we had bad audio last time. So we got some clips from some of the best lives we've done. With Earl, and John's on there talking about his helicopter over his house, and there was Robert, and with his dog. That was Skywatcher Mojo, and that was my analysis of his video that I did, which seemed to have a entity at a control panel. And here's an emanation I did for Earl's mum's story of underground base. Going down to the underground base, and apparently it looked like this underground according to his mother, plus it had shops and all that. So hello, good to be back. Looks like I was looking at the wrong screen, so my dialogue didn't line up with what you were seeing. Oh well, mistakes happen. Okay, so let's finish with the intro. Let's get out of this screen. Hello, Robert, are you there? I've got to check out the audio. Robert?
Hello.
Are you clicking? I suppose we need to check. I don't know if we got anyone join us.
Yeah, we've got a couple waiting.
Have we?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just get out this one. Although I need to get back to that. Okay. I don't know if I can hear it, but we'll see. How's the bandwidth going? Okay, let me just get out this one. Although I need to get back to that. Say 1, 2, 3, Robert, so we can hear you on the live stream.
Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10,
Okay, stop.
10, 8.
I don't know if I can hear it, but we'll see. How's the bandwidth going? Okay, let me just get out this one. Although I need to get back to that. Say 1, 2, 3, Robert, so we can hear you on the live stream.
Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10,
Okay, stop.
10, 8.
I don't know if I can hear it, but we'll see. I think it sounds right. Was it a wee bit crackly there?
Not for me.
Does that go too back to it? Does, doesn't it? I'd have to do that search again, probably. What was it? 1948. That's a good case, that one. So I'll just leave that there. So we're going to talk about, let's see.
Yeah, we'll talk about the O Hare incident first, 2006. I've left a link for you, Paul.
Why the O Hare one first? So shouldn't that be last?
If you're going in chronological order, yes.
Well, I said put this one first because it sounded like the more interesting one, the older case.
Okay, then.
Well,
we'll do that first.
We normally do it in year number, don't we? So I thought 48.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Give me 2 seconds, please.
I better type the welcome message while you're doing it. Stupid magnifier, it's gone too big. It's 187. I can't even remember how you spell it. That'll do. 1948 and 2000 UFO cases. That'll do. So we got one watching. So we haven't got any UFO pictures for this case, but just from what we got here. I'll leave that open in case we won't come back to it. We got 2 links.
Yeah, you need the bottom one now, Paul. There you go.
Hopefully we don't get a copyright claim.
It's only your website, Paul.
I know, but people don't honour fair use. Okay. Now, what type of plane was that one? P Mustang, was it? P-59, is it?
The lobby explained.
I don't know. It's kind of strange looking plane, isn't it? It's got a gunner at the...
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like a fighter plane, does it? It looks more like a bomber.
Yeah.
It's built more like a bomber, isn't it?
It's like a shrunk down Lancaster.
Yeah, you got it.
Was that
But
guns?
no, that was the plane, all right.
Is that the guns at the top here? Looks like a row.
It looks like there's a rear gun sight as well, isn't there?
Well, I can't see any guns on that one there. But that one looks like
I'd imagine there would have been guns back there, you know.
I think that looks like 3 machine guns together there. Anyway. My dad's ex-Air Force, and he's always looking at planes and playing videos. So where do we want to begin on this topic?
Well, at the beginning.
Do you want me to read it out, do you? I better make sure it's all working. Let's hang on. Yeah, it looks like it's set there. Let's see what Mr. Mick West has to say.
1948, the Fukuoka UFO incident.
Did it sound alright? Hopefully it did.
Yep, sounded fine.
Okay, so I suppose we'll read out some of it here. It's not too long, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not a well-known case. I don't think I've ever seen this one before.
Known as the Fukuoka UFO incident, this episode was probably the first time that US Air Force pilots used airborne radar to track an UFO. On October 15, 1948, an F-61, a World War II Black Widow night fighter, was on patrol over Japan when it picked up an unidentified target on its radar. The F-61 pilot decided to attempt to intercept the mysterious object. When the crew closed within gun range, the object suddenly accelerated from 320 km per hour, 200 miles per hour, to 1,900 km per hour, 1,200 miles per hour. It slowed down, allowing the F-61 to catch up once again, but this time, the object made a sharp turn and dived under the plane. The F-61 pilot tried to follow the turn to keep the object in sight, but he was quickly outmaneuvered. The total encounter, occupying a period of about 10 minutes.
Was it read it already?
Yeah. I mean, that's quite scary, isn't it? I mean, what could do that in 1948? I don't think there was anything around that could get even close to that kind of maneuver, even today.
F-61. So it isn't the one I thought. I thought it was P-59, but looks very similar, doesn't it, with a double wing?
Mm-hmm.
Just bear with me, I am a wee bit tired today for some reason.
Yeah.
The F-61 crew made 6 attempts to close on the UFO. On one pass, the crew said they did get close enough to see its silhouette. It was 20 to 30 feet long and looked like a rifle bullet. Dr. James E. McDonald reported on the incident in his statement on UFOs to U.S. House Committee on Science and Aeronautics. The Blue Book file is thick and contains a number of different intelligence reports that are not mutually compatible on certain quantitative details such as closure distances. Briefly, a total of 6 radar passes were made, and each time the F-61 closed to about 400 yards, the unknown object accelerated suddenly from about 200 miles per hour to an estimated 1,200 miles per hour. Oddly, the ground radars nearby didn't pick the object up during the 10-minute dogfight. The Fukuoka UFO incident is still held as official unidentified and may have the distinction of being the first ever radar-correlated UFO case.
You see, that's where the significance of this comes in. It was classed as the first UFO radar case on record, and it was widely picked up on at the time.
Although they say it wasn't picked up by ground radar.
No. It was onboard radar that picked it up, yep.
Let's see, radar. A total of 6 radar passes were made. I suppose that means where the radar thing goes sweep around. And each time the F-61 closed to about 400 yards, the unknown object accelerated. See, what's interesting is the ground radar didn't pick it up, which is kind of strange. It means it must have been a...
It depends what kind of ceiling the ground radar had. I don't know. You'd have to do an in-depth search of what type of radar was being used on ground.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it wasn't just a radar blip. It was a visual sighting as well.
All right. So where do we go from here? Any other information?
No. Have you read all that out, Paul?
I thought there was only just one little page. Yeah. It's not much there. Actually, it's got an X. It's got an X button. It's got an X button. Here we go. Oh no, it goes on to a next topic.
No. Okay, look, I'll post another link here.
Okay. I just want to look at the
P-59. Yeah, okay. That was just an introduction to it, Paul.
think it's P59 Mustang, isn't it? Maybe I got the wrong one. P59. Val 59 it's got there. It's not the same one. Maybe it's 47, P47. No. I wonder where I got the number from. Mustang. P51. Maybe that's it. Mustang P51. No, that's not it. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Anyway, close that link.
Yeah, I've left you the next link, Paul.
Yep, just bear with me.
Okay.
So easy to knock buttons around here. Here we go.
Yeah. So you can see now just how much attention this case drew, because you've got Edward Viewport talking about it. Remember him? Blue Book. Yeah. And you've got Hynek talking about it, and James McDonald.
Where does it say that?
And you need to, in those.
Let me just scale it up so I can read it a bit better. But yeah, we forgot to look on the map where this location is, by the way. So let's just bring it up now.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, apparently it's an island, but it looks like it's part of the main island here, but it's not. It's so close, it's got a gap in between, which we found out. It's got a bridge right there. It's not actually connected, so it's actually an island with a bridge over the waterway. So I suppose this Japan's formed by old volcano landmass at one stage.
Yeah, volcanic islands.
It's not really big, is it? Really. North Korea is probably half the size of it, at least. Let's see. Well, most of the size of it, actually. And then you got South Korea. If you put South Korea with North Korea, it's exactly the same size. But anyway, satellite view. Oh, look at the... See, that's why they get tsunamis. See this trench here? Underwater. There's actually they're meant to get a lot of UFO sightings off around this area here called the Dragon's Triangle. So there's a lot of USOs from around about this area here. It looks like a good place where you'd expect UFO caverns to be, with all that volcanic stuff under the ocean there. So let's have a quick look down here again. So was the plane flying over the island at the time, or was it off the coast to the island? Or was it round about here? Do we know?
I don't know the exact location of the plane when it made contact with the UFO. No.
Oh, here we go. Well, it looks like it's densely populated, doesn't it? Look at that. Really densely populated.
As most of Japan is.
And Google can't keep up. Come on. What's the houses crammed right next door to each other? And they're right on the coast there. And we've got some shops. So they're actually building, I don't know if they're businesses here, but they're definitely all along the shoreline. Probably warehouses, or shops. But yeah, there's the bridge going to the island anyway. So, back to the article. Suppose we can keep it open. So what do we need to read here?
Well, if you go down and do the rest of the article, and then we'll go through these. We see in this file, we can go through them one by one.
Extract of P.R. James. E. McDonald's presentation.
Yeah, Professor James McDonald, yeah.
Why aren't UFOs ever tracked by radar? So let's read all that out, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is his statement, I guess, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Better not do too much at once, just in case. There's a lot there to read, isn't it?
Extract of PR.
What's it
James
stop
E.
for?
McDonald presentation. This is an extract of the statement submitted by James E. McDonald, senior physicist, Institute of Atmospheric Physics, and professor, Department of Meteorology, the University of Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, to the House Committee on Science and Astronautics at July 29, 1968, Symposium on Unidentified Flying Objects, Rayburn Building, Washington, D.C. Why aren't UFOs ever tracked by radar? The skeptic who asks this question, and many do, is asking a very reasonable question. With so much radar equipment deployed all over the world, and especially within the United States, it seems sensible to expect that, if there are any airborne devices maneuvering in our airspace, they ought to show up on radars once in a while. They do indeed, and have been doing so for all of the 2 decades that radar has been in widespread use. Here, as with so many other general misconceptions about the true state of the UFO problem, we encounter disturbingly large amounts of misinformation. As with other categories of UFO misinformation, the only adequate corrective is detailed discussion of large numbers of individual cases. Only space limitations preclude discussion of dozens of striking radar tracking incidents involving UFOs, both here and abroad. They do exist. 1. Case 35. Fukuoka, Japan, October 15, 1948, a very early radar UFO case, still held as an official unidentified, involved an attempted interception of the unknown object by an F-61 flying near Fukuoka, Japan, at about 11 p.m. local time on 10/15/48. The official file on this incident is lengthy, ref. 42. Only the highlights can be recounted here. The F-61, with pilot and radar operator, made 6 attempts to close with the unknown, from which a radar return was repeatedly obtained with the airborne radar. Each time the radar man would get a contact and the F-61 pilot tried to close, the unknown would accelerate and pass out of range. Although the radar return seemed comparable to that of a conventional aircraft, the radar observer estimated that on 3 of the sightings, the object traveled 7 miles in approximately 20 seconds, giving a speed of approximately 1,200 miles per hour. In another passage, the official case file remarks that when the F-61 approached within 12,000 feet, the target executed a 180-degree turn and dived under the F-61, adding that the F-61 attempted to dive with the target but was unable to keep pace. The report mentions that the unknown could go almost straight up or down out of radar elevation limits, and asserts further that this aircraft seemed to be cognizant of the whereabouts of the F-61 at all times. The F-61 airman, First Lieutenant Oliver Hemphill, pilot, and Second Lieutenant Barton Holter, radarman, are described in the report as being of excellent character and intelligence and are trained observers. Hemphill, drawing on his combat experience in the European theatre, said that the only aircraft I can compare our targets to is the German Me-163. The airman felt obliged to consider the possibility that their 6 attempted intercepts involved more than one unknown. Hemphill mentions that, in the first attempted intercept, the target put on a tremendous burst of speed and dived so fast that we were unable to stay with it. After this head-on intercept, Hemphill did a channel back to his original 6,000 feet altitude and tried a stern interception, but the aircraft immediately outdistanced us. The third target was spotted visually by myself. Hemphill's signed statement in the case file continues. I had an excellent silhouette of the target thrown against a very reflective undercast by a full moon. I realized at this time that it did not look like any type of aircraft I was familiar with, so I immediately contacted my ground control station, which informed him there were no other known aircraft in the area. Hemphill's statement adds further that.
So yeah, I was just listening to that while looking at some pictures of the blueprint of the P-61 here. And And you can see here, this is the radar inside the nose cone. It's quite big nose it's got on there. You can see the radar back in those days were quite big and chunky. So there's that machine gun at the top here. It rotates around. That's pretty cool. It's like a battleship.
Yeah.
So it hasn't actually got guns at the rear here. It's just got someone that looks out here and turns that gun around.
I suppose that gun platform there can swivel 360 degrees, can't it?
Yeah, so I think they didn't have cameras back in those days. They don't need to do this now. But yeah, I guess if they're being attacked from behind, he takes over. The back rear gunner takes over this one. And this one here, you'd think there'd be some extra guns for shooting forward as well. Can't quite see it on the drawing there. But maybe they swap over from rear to front.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Or the guy dashes between the front and rear, which would be kind of strange, but maybe that's what they do.
I don't know. I think there'd been a crew of at least 6, you know.
Well, it could be on like one of those chairs that slides around, you know, it slides back and forth. That would make sense, and swivels around. They could do it that way, I guess. But yeah, so quite a good picture there off the plane. So you can see why they would pick it up. It's quite a big nose cone if you had a look at the nose cone here. That's a picture of it there. It's quite hefty looking thing. As big as a human. See, there's the guy working on it behind.
Yeah, we've got a scale there.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. 29 inches. That's probably the same size as what we use on the roof to get cable TV here. So, ground radars, another one. 90, I think they're quite big, like swinging, rotating platforms. Ground radar. And that
did it say what altitude the plane was when it made the sighting?
I can't remember if it did or not. Do you remember hearing it in the blurb?
No.
So ground radar, have we got anything here? That might be one of it, like that. Swings around, that's a fairly big one though. Permanent system radar stations. I've got a Wikipedia of lots of pictures, okay. Let's have a look. And that's the sort of stuff my dad was doing. He was an engineer. He went and stored it around the world in part of the global radar network. I thought there was more pictures than that, but looks like they vanished. They're not on that site. I was looking at these other ones. Let's see. That one's quite a big one there. But normally that's on the ground rather than high up on a tower there. So that's interesting that they could build it up on the tower like that. Hey Yan, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Is the audio sounding good for Robert and mine? Unlike Il's the other day, no one told us about it, which is a bit unfortunate because I could have fixed it probably. Here's some other ones here. These ones actually can look like they can tilt. That one looks like it can tilt that way and that way. Looks like that one's spinning and as well as tilting.
Because we don't know exactly what system they were using on the ground, do we?
No. But I'm just looking at 1948 ones. That one looks like it's on the ground or building. Let me see. Is it a cutaway there, is it? Oh no, it's on a tower. So I guess they might have had it on a tower then. I don't know if you've seen the radars at airports, but I think they're pretty much on the end of near the runways, you know, spinning around on the ground nowadays. Anyway, there's one that's encased in a dome, which is what they do now with fiberglass because it doesn't reflect and it stops it rusting Oh, here's one that's on the ground, I think. Is that one on the ground? Or it's not on top of a small building.
Close enough.
Look at this one. Whew. It's on top of a truck. Yeah, so it looks like most of them are on towers. That's what I put in. Look at this one. That's on a tower, and that one's covered. It's a lot of strange antennas. But anyway. Well, that's what I put in the search. But you know what search is like on Google anyway. It seems to give us a lot of other stuff here. What's that one there? A drawing of one. So that's on a building. Radar antenna. Does it give a distance? Target. 1994 copyright. Here's some other pictures. Principle of radar. Reflects back. So it's strange that they didn't pick up the UFO, yet they must have picked up the plane, right? So suppose we have to carry on. Where did we get to? Do you remember what was the last sentence? It's unhighlighted here.
Yeah, at least we found the altitude now. The altitude was 6,000 feet.
Yeah, so I'm not
the
sure.
fault the ground radar covered that really, but
yeah,
came back as a negative.
6,000 feet. What's that in miles?
I don't know. I'd had a guess. I'd say 4 to 5.
Yeah, I don't know American things. No, it's only 1.13 miles.
Oh my God! Okay.
That's not far, is it?
No. So it should have been picking up on that.
Unless I've done something wrong. I can't see anything there.
Well, you've got 6,000, yeah.
Kilometers. Kilometer. 1.8. That sounds about right. Slightly longer than a mile.
Yeah.
Well, that's almost 2 kilometers. Yeah, it's not that far. Foot. What else we got there? That's it, isn't it? Yard, inches. No, looks like it's correct.
Yeah, I was thinking meters then. So.
Well, let's read out the rest of it here. I think we've got round about there somewhere.
Yeah.
The F-61 Airman, First Lieutenant Oliver Hemphill, pilot, and Second Lieutenant Barton Holter, radarman, are described in the report as being of excellent character and intelligence and are trained observers. Hemphill, drawing on his combat experience in the European theatre, said that the only aircraft I can compare our targets to is the German Me-163. The airman felt obliged to consider the possibility that their 6 attempted intercepts involved more than one unknown. Hemphill mentions that, in the first attempted intercept, the target put on a tremendous burst of speed and dived so fast that we were unable to stay with it. After this head-on intercept, Hemphill did a channel back to his original 6,000 feet altitude and tried a stern interception, but the aircraft immediately outdistanced us. The third target was spotted visually by myself. Hemphill's signed statement in the case file continues. I had an excellent silhouette of the target thrown against a very reflective undercast by a full moon. I realized at this time that it did not look like any type of aircraft I was familiar with, so I immediately contacted my ground control station, which informed him there were no other known aircraft in the area. Hemphill's statement adds further that the fourth target passed directly over my ship from astern to bow at a speed of roughly twice that of my aircraft, 200 miles per hour. I caught just a fleeting glimpse of the aircraft, just enough to know that he had passed on. The fifth and sixth targets were attempted radar interceptions, but their high rate of speed put them immediately out of our range. Note the non-committal terminology that treats each intercept target as if it might have been a separate object. A sketch of what the object looked like when seen in silhouette against the moonlit cloud deck is contained in the file. It was estimated to be about the size of a fighter aircraft, but had neither discernible wings nor tail structures. It was somewhat bullet-shaped, tapered towards the rear, but with a square cut-off end. It seemed to have a dark or dull finish. Discussion. Ground radar stations never detected the unknown that was seen visually and contacted by airborne radar. The report indicates that this may have been due to effects of ground clutter, though the F-61 was seen intermittently on the ground units. The airman stated that no exhaust flames or trail were seen from this object with its stubby, clean lines. The total duration of the 6 attempted intercepts is given as 10 minutes. We deal here with one of many cases wherein radar detection of an unconventional object was supported by visual observation. That this is carried as unidentified cannot surprise one. What is surprising is that so many other comparable instances are on record, yet have been ignored as indicators of some scientifically intriguing problem demanding intensive study.
So they say it's bullet shaped, but I think they mean, let's see, bullet. I think they mean the one with the really fine, pointy tip on it. Let's see.
Well, I think they described it as they seen it, Paul.
Shaped UFO. Let's see. Let's see what comes up with it. Here we go. What have we got?
I think you're getting anywhere with that kind of explanation. Typing in that kind of information into Google, you're just going to come up with all kinds of random stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of them look cigar shaped to me rather than bullet shaped.
Okay, bullet ammo. Google brought up. If I typed in bullet at giving motorbikes instead of bullets, so here's some bullets. So I'd say it probably would have been closer to what they've got here. Not really pointed, rather than these ones here that are really pointy and skinny. I reckon that's more fat and rounded tip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, any serviceman knows what a bullet looks like, don't they?
Yeah, but there's another bullet one. See, they can be chubby.
Yeah, but Paul, it's just the general description. I mean, there's no point going too in depth on that.
No, but
unless you have a pilot here speaking to us.
But they're talking about the flat rear end, right? And it's going to be that profile. But I reckon it would have been the more fat one, like that one there, on the side. But there is something really similar to bullet-shaped UFOs, and they've been around for a long time. They're called ghost rockets. They were in the 1940s, ghost rockets.
Yeah, Scandinavian ghost rockets in 1946.
And it sounds to me like it could have been related to one of these. Although we haven't really... But these ones sort of left a vapor trail. Images not so good. Apparently that's one coming down there. And they sort of crash into lakes and disappear, from what I understood.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we got any decent pictures of any. There's another one. I think that's about it, really. They look like fireballs or comets coming down, or meteorites. Or fireballs, or what is the other terminology? There's another name for them. What's that name they used in newspapers with the Irish sighting? And there's a drawing of a ghost rocket here. And you can't help to see the ghost rocket similar to what the Nazis were working on, which is another thing, the V1 rocket.
But I thought you'd try and find that connection. Now it's plausible.
I think it's too small, though, from what the descriptions were. But there was another case I did in 1948. It sounds like the same craft to this one that you just found here, called the UFO case or two pilot sightings. And I'll just post the link. USA this was in, not Japan. So that's quite interesting. Because the ghost rockets were normally over Scandinavia, wasn't it? Sweden and that sort of places. USA 1948 ghost rocket case. So I'll just bring up some pictures of that from my episode quickly. I won't play it. I'll just skim through it. This was not a... These were a commercial flight, a DC-3. Back in Howard Hughes' days, they used that. But these are the pictures of the drawings that the pilots did. Sounds very similar to what they saw, a bullet shape with the flat rear end. But in this case, this one, it was actually given off some fumes, rocket fumes out the back here. And they said it had a row of windows, or actually 2 rows of windows. And that flew past their plane. And that was only at 1,000 feet, not 6,000 feet. So they wrote it off as a meteorite or comet that sort of skimmed and went back out in the atmosphere. But at 1,000 feet, that's almost, hitting the ground at that level. It's not going to go skim back out into outer space again. And other people wrote it off as a possible one of those phantom airships, because there was a group of aviators in USA that had their own sort of garages where they built flying craft, but like the Wright brothers trying to invent the next best aircraft or airship or whatever, transport. And it was written off as possibly one of those with some sort of new engine on the end. But back then, I don't know if they had helium balloons, because that's a bit risky having rocket stuff coming out the rear of a hydrogen airship, right? So I don't buy that explanation for that case either. It's a really good case. Some pictures of the 2 men in the newspaper here describing it. Sky's devil ship.
Oh, well, you know what the media like to sensationalize things.
Yeah. I think there's some. So I actually looked at how high 1,000 feet was, and here's the altitude was the tip of this building here in Saudi Arabia, is it? You can see how close to the ground it is compared to normal high rises. No way would that be a meteorite flying at that level there. And I got a clip off here, 1,000 feet of a C-180 dropping supplies down. You can see how close to the ground they are at 1,000 feet. So this DC-9 didn't have compressed air, compressed cabins, so you can't go higher as people pass out, right? So unlike modern jets that have...
yeah, it's called an oxy, isn't it?
Yeah. When the planes crash and they have little oxygen masks that fall down that you're meant to put on, because you lose compression. Like if you get a if you get an explosion, right, and you got a hole inside the plane, these oxygen masks will drop down, so you have to put them on so you don't pass out or die because you can't breathe. But you see it on movies. But yeah, there were some pictures here of them explaining some better pictures. Because these were just commercial, it wasn't fighter pilots, so that makes it slightly different, but it's in the same time period. I'm not sure what...
Yeah, it's in the same time frame, yeah.
I'm not sure what month it was now. Because your case was in 8th October, right?
You got it.
So this was like 3 o'clock in the morning too. Altitude was about 5,000 feet. Same as the other plane. And what is it? Stubborn wing at a distance of at least 1,000 feet. So it was 1,000 feet away from their craft, and cruising.
That's not a lot, is it?
No.
1,000 feet. That's less than a mile.
One said 1,000 feet, while the other said it was a few times that. So there's slight differences.
Discrepancies there, yeah.
So yeah, and there's the ghost rockets again. But you can watch that full episode if you want to. It's only 11 minutes long. Get back to your one. I think that we got to the end of the article, didn't we?
No, yeah, but you need to go back up again to look to see. Yeah, okay, we've read the top one, haven't we?
I read from there all the way down.
No, Paul. You're not listening.
I
Go
am.
back up again.
That is.
Okay. Yeah, you see in this file, yeah, and the 3 little individual tabs that are there, you've only played the top one.
Played.
Yeah, you haven't listened to Hynek's version of it yet.
I played whatever that one's highlighted there, McDonald's. Haven't played the top one.
Yeah, the top one, yeah. So you need to play all 3 of those, Paul.
You sure we haven't played that one?
We have played that one, yeah. You need to go down to the second one.
No, I don't think we have played that one.
I presume you started at the top. Oh, there you go then.
No, I didn't. No, I started in the middle because that's what you sent me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's not clever, is it?
It says this page, yeah. Oh, we can listen to Hynek one next. I think I think the other one, if you look, is just a recap of what we've already done. Talking about Project Blue Book.
Yeah, but you've got the 3 different opinions, 3 different conclusions, and 3 different people.
Well, case summary. So maybe you should come back to that as the last one then. We'll go to this one here, Hynek.
Okay. Yeah.
And read what he's got to say.
So remember, that's Project Sign Now, which was the forerunner to Blue Book. Well, there was Sign, there was Dredge, and then there was Blue Book.
All right.
So this is the earliest one.
It does seem like
1947.
It does seem like the Americans keep renaming their UFO study program, doesn't it?
Well, they do, yeah. Of course they do, yeah.
It's called ATIP.
That's what the military does.
It's called ATIP now. Yeah, let's read out this one.
Drive J. Alan Hynek. The information below is from the Hynek UFO Report, page 125, by J. Alan Hynek, who has been the astronomy consultant of the US Air Force for UFO matters 18 years long. UFOs with radar. October the 15th, 1948, Kyushu, Japan. In the fall of 1948, Project Sign received a report from Kyushu, Japan, describing the encounter of an F-61 aircraft with from 2 to 6 unidentified flying objects. Intelligence reports from the Far East Air Forces indicated that the UFOs might have carried radar warning equipment. Because the objects seemed cognizant of the whereabouts of the F-61 at all times. The sighting took place at about 11:05 p.m. on October the 15th, 1948, some 50 miles northwest of Fukuoka, off the northwest coast of Kyushu. A statement of January the 28th, 1949, by Second Lieutenant Barton Halter of the 68th Fighter Squadron, who was radar operator of the P-61, explains the encounter. My present duties are radar and communications maintenance officer, and radar observer night fighter with the 68th Fighter Squadron, 347th Fighter Group, or APO-75. On the 15th of October 1948, my pilot and I started out on a routine mission off the northwest coast of Kyushu. When, at 11:05 p.m., we were approximately 50 miles at 330 degrees from Fukuoka, I picked up an airborne target. It showed up at a range of 5 miles dead ahead and slightly below us. We increased our speed to approximately 220 miles per hour and obtained an advantage of 20 miles per hour. The target showed no evasive action at first, and we thought that it was probably one of the fighter aircraft from our home field. As we closed in, I noticed a slight change in azimuth and a rapid closure between us. Shortly thereafter, a matter of seconds, the target gave the indication of diving beneath us. We dived in an attempt to follow the target, and before we could get squared away to follow, it had passed beneath us and was gone. I was notified by my pilot that we were diving at a rate of 3,500 feet a minute at 300 miles per hour. I had intended to ask the pilot to peel off after it split S, but it was gone too fast. The next, or second, interception was from the rear of the target, as was the first. However, the target added a burst of speed dead ahead and outdistanced us immediately. On the third interception, my pilot called a visual at 60 degrees port SID. By the time I made the pickup, it was at 45 degrees port 3000 single quote and 5 degrees below. My pilot made a rapid starboard turn in an attempt to head off the target. By the time we got astern of it, it was off again in a burst of speed and disappeared between 9 and 10 miles. On the fourth interception, the pilot called to me that we had been passed from above from the rear by our target. I picked up target as it went off my scope from 5 to 10 miles dead ahead and slightly above. On the fifth and sixth interceptions, the target appeared at 9+ miles doing approximately 200 miles per hour. We had as advantage of 20 miles per hour taking our ES approximately 220 miles per hour, a safe high-speed cruise for F-61 type aircraft. We closed in to 12,000 feet, then, with a burst of speed the target pulled away to the outer limit of my set, which is 10 miles for airborne targets. This took approximately 15 to 20 seconds. In my opinion, we were shown a new type aircraft by some agency unknown to us. According to a Project Sign intelligence report, the pilot of the F-61 was able to make out a silhouette of the UFO. It was a clear moonlit night, and he described it as translucent with a very short body and stubby appearance. The object had clean-cut lines and no canopy was discernible. The entire 6 sightings lasted less than 10 minutes, with each individual sighting about a minute or so in duration. The UFO's speed varied from between 200 miles per hour to 1,200 miles per hour. An accepted dispatch from headquarters, 315th Air Division, to the commanding general of the 5th Air Force, of February 28, 1949, relative to this case, contained these interesting comments. 2. It is believed that the object was not lost from the scope due to the normal skip null zones common to all radar equipment. The pilot and observer feel that it was the high rate of speed of the object which enabled it to disappear so rapidly. The pilot of the F-61, First Lieutenant Oliver Hemphill, Jr., had this to say: "I had an excellent silhouette of the target thrown against a very reflective undercast by a full moon. I realized at this time that it did not look like any type aircraft I was familiar with, so I immediately contacted my ground control station and asked for information regarding any aircraft in the area. The ground control radar reported no other aircraft, and at no time could they pick up the UFO. Hemphill stated that he again caught just a fleeting glance of the aircraft UFO, just enough to know he had passed me on the 4th sighting. Project Sign reviewed the Kyushu, Japan UFO case and ultimately classified it as unidentified."
What's interesting there, they didn't mention anything about wings and that.
No wings, no propulsion method, and whatever it is, it's clearly under intelligent control, isn't it?
And they didn't see any windows on it, which we'll go back to this above top secret one where someone was trying to debunk it, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. So we're talking now, Dal, so is it not crackling, I hope? Let's hope it sounds good.
No, the sound is good, Paul. No one's complaining.
Yeah, but no one complained last time, and we could have fixed it up.
No, we've had feedback of 2 people. That sounds good.
Okay, well, we have to trust them then. Yeah, when I was going back to this other case here, I got it wrong. That was a mole high building, which is 5,000 feet. That makes more sense, doesn't it? It's because a 1,000 feet building would only be not so many meters, right? What was the 1,000?
I think it was at 1,600 feet in a mile, Paul.
Feet, 1,000 feet to mile. I think it's only.
It's going to be less than a mile.
It's only like 0.2 of a mile.
There you go.
Yeah, but to meter, it's only 300 meters high. So that's how far apart it was, not how high it was. It was actually 5,000 feet from the ground, which is slightly lower than what they were saying for this particular case, which is 1,500 meters, which is what you see cloud layer, right? The highest cloud layer you can see with your eyes, and of course Saudi Arabia are building those mole buildings, so I was trying to compare it in the episode, so it sort of made sense. So that should be a mile high, almost a mile high, 5,000 feet. So just make that correction there. I knew I read 1,000, but it actually was how far apart it was from them to see. So 300 meters with a UFO passing you in this other case, which is very similar, you would expect them to be able to see good detail from 300 meters away. That's like looking up the street, right?
Yeah, hold on a minute, Paul. It was dark.
Yeah, it was 3 a.m. I guess it would have to be lit by the flame coming out the back
the guy
of it,
did say the moon reflected off it.
Yeah, so
we've just read all that stuff out.
Yeah, your particular case, I'm talking about this similar case in America. It was 3 a.m. as well. But that, what was the time they said of it? It was 11 p.m. at night. So that was like 4 hours earlier than the other case, which is very similar. I just can't help see how similar it is.
They're still both nighttime sightings though, Paul.
Yeah, from 300 meters away. I suppose you would see the shape of it for sure. I suppose you might not see the wings, right? But, yeah, we'll just read out the rest of it here. Was that the one? Let's see, top one. Here we go. Events. Edward Rupert, case summary, and the webmaster note. All-weather night fighter. So we'll just select and read that, I guess. Before we go, anyone down the side want to say anything? What's that? BBL. What's that stand for?
Not sure.
Yes, I've not heard that one. Be right back, maybe? Be back later? Be back later. Oh, right, that'll be what it is. He's gone. Oh, well. On with the show. He's probably waiting for the plaster to set somewhere. Let's just, he's doing plastering in his house at the moment, apparently.
Okay.
Edward Rupert, in his book The Report on the Unidentified Flying Objects, 1955, Captain Ed Rupert, who was the head of Project Blue Book when it began, wrote, "Then, in 1948, radar came into the picture. For months the anti-saucer factions had been pointing their fingers at the lack of radar reports, saying, if they exist, why don't they show up on radarscopes? When they showed up on radarscopes, the UFO won some converts. On October the 15th, 1948, an F-61, a World War II Black Widow night fighter was on patrol over Japan when it picked up an unidentified target on its radar. The target was flying between 5,000 and 6,000 feet and traveling about 200 miles per hour. When the F-61 tried to intercept, it would get to within 12,000 feet of the UFO only to have it accelerate to an estimated 1,200 miles per hour, leaving the F-61 far behind before slowing down again. The F-61 crew made 6 attempts to close on the UFO. On one pass, the crew said they did get close enough to see its silhouette. It was 20 to 30 feet long and looked like a rifle bullet. Case summary by PR. James E. McDonald. From USAF Project Blue Book files comes the material summarized here for this officially unidentified case involving airborne radar and air visual observation of an unconventional, bullet-shaped object. At 11:05 p.m. LST, a USAF F-61 Black Widow fighter, with a crew of pilot and radar observer, flying near Fukuoka, obtained a radar pickup on an unknown target at an altitude of around 6,000 feet, and an initial range of about 10 miles. The total encounter, occupying a period of about 10 minutes, is too complex to describe in full detail here. The Blue Book file is thick and contains a number of different intelligence reports that are not mutually compatible on certain quantitative details such as closure distances. Briefly, a total of 6 radar passes were made, and each time the F-61 closed to about 400 yards, the unknown accelerated suddenly from about 200 miles per hour to an estimated 1,200 miles per hour. The original report from Far East Air Force's intelligence sources states that the unknown had a high rate of acceleration and could go almost straight up or down out of radar elevation limits. There was sufficient moonlight to permit a silhouette to be discerned, although no details were observed. The F-61 crew thought it possible that the 6 passes might have been made on 2 separate unknowns, but this was inferential. Another portion of the official file includes a 5th follow-up report, describing some other points. When the F-61 approached within 12,000 feet, the target executed a 180-degree turn and dived under the F-61. The F-61 attempted to dive with the target, but was unable to keep pace. It is believed that the object was not lost from the scope due to normal skip null zones common to all radar equipment. The pilot and observer feel that it was the high rate of speed of the object which enabled it to disappear so rapidly. And still another document in the Blue Book file describes the visual sighting made at one juncture. At the time of only visual sighting, target was on a level with observing aircraft. Under night visibility, all that was visible was a silhouette. Type of tail stabilizers is unknown. General classification, very short body giving a stubby appearance. Canopy, if present, was formed into aircraft body to give the object clean-cut lines and was not discernible. The estimated size was 20-30 feet, and an accompanying sketch shows it as having a sharply cut-off tail, bullet-shaped. No exhaust was seen. The moon was nearly full on that night, and the airmen saw the outline against a moonlit cloud. USAF ground radar stations at Shigamo-shima and Fukushima had the F-61 on their scopes intermittently as it moved in and out of ground clutter, but at no times obtained a radar return from the unknown. Report states that the Fukuoka sighting was one of the first UFO cases where an unidentified was seen on a radarscope, but many have since attained that distinction. Indeed, when one reads the full text of the 1953 Robertson panel, one of the arresting points is the evident concern with the large number of radar fast tracks already on record by that date. Despite the existence in USAF records of a number of unidentified seen on radar, often with both airborne and ground radar, and sometimes with ground and air visual sightings in accord, members of a Congressional Armed Services Committee investigation were told by the USAF Blue Book officer on April 5, 1966, that we have no radar cases which are unexplained. This was in answer to Congressman Schwaker's pertinent question when the committee was inquiring into the UFO problem following the 1966 Michigan swamp gas episode. Dr. J. Allen Hynek, Air Force scientific consultant for 18 years and present in the hearing room, did not correct this misinformation. Webmaster note, the F-61 Black Widow all-weather night fighter. The Black Widow was still used for a few years after UAI due to the USAF's problems in developing a usable jet-powered all-weather night fighter. The Curtiss P-87 had initially been scheduled as the jet-powered replacement for the Black Widow, but the failure of the XP-87 project forced the Black Widow to have to soldier on for another few years. The last operational Black Widow left Japan in May 1950, missing the Korean War by only a month.
Okay, so that brings us to this. What do they mean by that? Radar skip, normal radio skip, null stone. Let's see, we've got the image of what they're talking about. Hynek reports. I forgot some images. Let's have a look. Does it explain skip? Probably not. Okay.
What have you typed in there, Paul?
Here we go, skip zone. Here we go. Skip zone where signal is not detectable. So it's where the radar goes into the ground there, and of course the curvature of the Earth that absorbs the signal below that horizon.
Mm-hmm.
So they call that the skip zone. Ground wave
Interesting.
coverage. So I thought I had to look that up so it made it a bit more clear. But this shows how they can angle it up and bounce off the ionosphere. So this is what Tesla was working with, charging the ionosphere to be able to get a radio signal longer distances. And of course that's what the Navy are trying to do with the HARP as well, apparently. So they can so they can bounce it off the ionosphere instead of it going into outer space. So they can get a better signal, longer range, and all that sort of stuff, and talk to submarines because of the curvature of the Earth, which again disproves flat Earth. And of course, Tesla was well aware that the Earth was a curved, not a flat as crazies we have nowadays.
It'd be much easier if the world was flat, to be honest, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have these time zones.
What's his name? Uni Rock's fighting the flat earthers at the moment. He's calling them flat churches. He means they should be called flat churches because it's like a religion. Yeah. So there we go. But that brings us to this page here. So we haven't got any pictures of the pilots drawing anything down for us, unfortunately. But
no. Well, bullet shaped. Come on, use your imagination in that one.
But they're talking about a false signal that the airplane could get here, bullets of it. That's on above top secret as well.
Yeah, so but it can't be a false signal if it's combined with a visual sighting, Paul.
Well, you tell that on to the above top secret. But they can watch our video, I guess.
Yeah.
Related one. What's that one there? So that one's got a UFO. 12,000 feet. I don't know if we've got any other ones here. Oh yeah, I think that's on above top secret. Apparently, they're referring it to this plane here, which was in development at the time, called the X4, which is a bullet shape with a flat end. But yes, it looks like it's got a rocket motor on it. Is it a solid thing? We need to look up information on that, I guess. X4, is it? X4 plane. But why would they be harassing another airplane? Is that it? That can't be the X4. Let's see. Are they saying it's X4? There we go. What's that say there? Bell X1, is it? Let's see. Type that in then.
Oh, the X1 was the first plane to pick the soundbite here.
Here we go. We've got all the X-planes here.
There's a bit of the one-trick pony, though. The Dunker actually went into service.
Bell Model 44. Does look like the drawing on that site. Because we've got no colour, orange. Can't tell, because it's all black and white. But that one doesn't look like it's got any exhaust. It's very fine here. So what did that use? Like a solid rocket booster or something? Supersonic research. Was that the first one to break the speed barrier, was it? Achieved.
Yeah, sound barrier.
Sound barrier, yeah. 1,000 miles per hour, 1,600 kilometers per hour.
That was going some then, wasn't it?
What's the speed of sound then? It's 300 meters.
About 730, depended on altitude.
Okay, let's just get some stats up on that. Speed of sound. I thought it was 343 meters per second.
Yeah, if you're looking at it in meters,
yeah. Miles per hour.
No, about 700.
You're right, 767.
Yeah, but that depends on altitude changes.
Of course, yes. Wind resistance, I guess. So what did it use here? Does it say chemical? It looks like a chemical rocket. There we go. Is it a liquid or solid? It's not much of an engine, really. One rocket engine. What's it say there? 1942. It's going the right speed, they were saying, though, wasn't it? What was the speed they said again? We closed it down. I think that looks like a liquid, so it must have been using oxygen-hydrogen mixture, right? So if it got shot by a bullet, it would be very explosive.
Yeah, I don't.
1944. So we have a look at what Buff Top Secret was saying. Where is it? I've got some stuff queued up for the weekend. Saturday, Monday, Sunday, USA. So what they're saying here, I'll just read out the American bit.
Interesting. If I had to guess and make a rational guess at what this could have been, I would gander to say the top secret aircraft of the Bell X-1. The time period fits in quite well, and the speeds would have smoked the F-61, which could only reach speeds comfortably at around 350 to 450. The Bell X-1 could easily reach speeds of 950 miles per hour. That would have made it seem like it flew by them and just made it look silly. Also, the shape of the aircraft is bullet-like as well. Check it out.
But I think when they fire the engine, can they slow it down and control it? I think it just goes super fast, but only goes a straight line, doesn't it? Do they actually land it? Or does he eject from it and it crashes or something? Or does it come down by parachute?
I don't know. To be honest, X1 sounded more like a statement to me than it was ever going to be, a plane that was going to do steady service.
Like, if it was a prototype plane, did they sort of just fly over the sea and eject from it and let it crash into the sea, or did they actually try and land the thing? This is what I'm asking. Experimental rocket plane, they call it here. Which again sounds like a sky rocket, doesn't it? The sky rocket UFOs, in a way. Mach 1, just over Mach 806 miles per hour they got to there. But did they land it? Is there any pictures of it landing? Here we go. Can we play these or not? They're not some crappy TV site, are they? Let's see. It's hard to know. Because you don't know where they got it from. Old footage. Let's have a look anyway. We'll take a chance. Aerospace. Oh, here we go. It's already playing. Hasn't got a speed thing on it either. There's the rocket engine here. Well, it doesn't look like it's got landing gear there, so it's on the runway, right? So, is it playing any sound? Because I can't hear anything.
No, can I?
Sound. Should be going to the thing. Maybe it's really quiet. I don't think it's got any sound on it. Oh look, it's not really big. Is that looking like 20 to 30 feet? I think that's what they said it was, wasn't it? In the readout of the case.
Would be, you can see the scale there, the bloke on the tractor. Yeah, it's got to be 30 feet easily.
Okay. So it does sort of match, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And why is he towing it? So, you know what I mean?
Possibly maneuver like the pilot was describing.
Yeah, because look, they've got to tow it by a tractor to the runway.
Yeah. As I told you, it was a one-trick pony.
Did it take off, or was it dropped from another plane? Because they dropped a lot of X-planes. Like, they dropped a lot of planes from B-52 bomber, wasn't it? So, well, let's see if it takes off. How does it take off? Ah, look. A B-52 or something like that. Is that what's going to carry it? Looks like it. There's it on the ground here, isn't it? Is it?
Hmm?
It looks too small.
What the hell is going on here?
They're going to drop it like a bomb. So it can't land or take off on its own then. There you go, they got it strapped underneath. Well, that wouldn't be much good for a fighter plane.
No, useless.
I'll just skim. There we go. Has it been dropped now? Well, whereabouts did they drop it? I didn't actually see him drop it. There it goes. Here it comes. Release. What? That's not a B-52 though, is it? That's something else. So they released it. I'm not sure. Oh, wait, another far away shot here, is it? Oh, yeah, there it is, gliding. Well, you can't see any exhaust out of it. But they haven't fired off the engine yet, I don't think. It's just gliding downwards, isn't it? Doesn't look much, does it? Well, surely if they saw a tail fin on it, they would have said so in the report, right?
Yeah.
They didn't say it had a tail on it.
This thing obviously couldn't maneuver, could it?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think it even lands. I think they're probably jettison. Oh, right, maybe it does land. Tell the lie. It glides down to the runway by the looks of it. Okay. It's a one-trick thing. Fires off the motor, gets up to max speed, and then glides down. So I don't think it's that one. Anyway, it's good watching that old footage. That was quite interesting.
Yeah.
I was glad I found that. Hopefully it's not copyrighted. It is pretty old, though, isn't it? The Bell X1. It's got to be 1944 there, probably. It's got to be beyond copyright by now. I know NASA. Apparently NASA doesn't copyright any of their footage now, so it can be public domain, which is a good way to go, I think. So yeah, I discount his rocket plane being what they saw.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that would be picked up on radar, that thing. Because it looks quite reflective, and the tail fin surely would have to reflect something. What else are they saying here? Anything useful? 6 passes.
I think we're pretty much done with this case.
Yeah, I think so. But you never know. Nice presentation. Was the aircraft ever tested anywhere outside USA? So that's another thing. I don't think they would have tested the X1 over bloody... Oops, I don't mean to swear. They want to test it over Japan. You know, and they're only testing it over USA, over deserts, and obviously the sea as well.
Japan by then,
Yeah.
it was in the United States' pocket, weren't they? This
There
is
we go.
1948.
Someone's debunking them. Someone's debunking them here. I don't believe the flight characteristics of the object as described matches the flight capabilities of the X1. And we don't either. I don't believe the X1 flew over Japan, nor do we. So we blasted that one out the water. Very nice memory regarding old prototypes. Flight capabilities. The Bell one had to be launched from another plane. Yep, that's what we saw. Propulsion system used a rocket engine. That means it can only be fired once. Really? Okay, I thought you could probably put it out and fire it again. If you speed up the engine, the plane will start to speed up until it loses all fuel.
Isn't it?
Didn't quite catch what you said there.
Yeah, it's only got a payload of, so many litres of fuel.
Right, yeah.
So it's...
Yeah. Yes. Because rocket engines are going to use a lot more than a normal jet engine, right? So, or propeller at that time. Propeller planes. So that's going on about that one. Is there any other explanations here? See a clear afterburner flame during the acceleration of the aircraft. Well, they're talking about F-22. They wouldn't have had F-22 back then. Visual reference. Let's assume it is a human prototype with advanced flight capabilities using human technology. In order to make those speeds and those accelerations, you will see a clear afterburner flame during the acceleration of the aircraft. to make a huge acceleration. That makes sense. You need a huge amount of fuel being burned. The afterburner system is great in that even with the new efficient F-22, you will see afterburner flame. Well, I don't see flame, but it does create a funny cone shape behind it. So, and it would make a lot of sound too, wouldn't it? Hear a sonic boom.
It's just not what he's describing, is it?
Yeah, so this guy's debunking and using logic, which is good. So what else we got? Anything else? Great idea, and it does resemble the same bullet appearance, but in my opinion, I don't really see this being the answer. Very true. Okay, just skimming through. Star and flag. Another interesting report below made by J. Allen Hynek, which we already read out. So what did James Oberg reckon to this one? Have we got a James Oberg opinion on it? That'd be interesting. He might have something. I always like to see what the skeptics come up with, see if we actually agree with it or not. The radar used a SCR 720, but we want to know what the ground radar was. Track down submarines and enemy ships, but could also search and track down air-to-air threats. So it was quite an advanced nose cone radar it had on it then, if it could see submarines. Inspired modern radars, which they use in nose cones of planes now. Obviously, they're smaller though. They had more advanced electronics, so they can scale it down, right? So. What's this one? You know how it works. You imagine a bubble of a microwave. Now, what are they talking about there? There are some problems with this radar. Bubble microwaves. It's a maximum and minimum altitude of range. You can aim it at the ground and you'll get false readings. And it can't look at certain angles. Okay. Well, we saw that with that picture I brought up before, talking about the curvature of the Earth with ground radar, which explains why they couldn't see it, because it was probably out of the angle of the Earth where it was where the radar could reach. So what's this guy saying about the radar system? Are you there, Robert? You've gone quiet on us.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back now.
Although some people think it was multiple target sighting, I don't think so. According to the data displayed and using just the example of the 180 turn made by the UFO, it's clear whatever was flying in that night in front of the P-61 had amazing speed and maneuverability, which makes acceptable the
possibility of a single UFO. Yeah.
I don't think that's
the way I'm going.
It doesn't sound like it was worded right there to me. The importance of the case.
Yeah, it's fine.
Is that there was a radar sighting and visual confirmation. That's what you said.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. You can go and give that guy a hug. Not only that, but the UFO was sighted in perfect condition. Considering, well, it was nighttime. It wasn't really perfect conditions.
No.
That's the only problem there. It was nighttime. It was dark. Shame they didn't have a big spotlight on their plane to light it up. That would have been really good.
Yeah, true. But if it wasn't for the full moon, maybe there wouldn't have been any visual contact at all.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder why a UFO would be interested in a silly little plane like that. Unless they was trying to, sip around it and scan it 3D so they could have it on record.
Well, I mean, it just could have been simple observation.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how these things think, do we?
So we got some questions on the side about it. I wonder what's known in what the hell are you saying? What's KN?
I think he means kilometers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 87 kilometers. Is that what it said in the article? I can't remember. So that's less than a mile, obviously, because 1,000 meters is. Oh, actually, he's talking about kilometers. 1,000 kilometers is what? Quite a lot. I'm not too sure where that thing was posted now, so we can't verify what he meant. Probably a typo.
Mm-hmm.
So what have we got here? Anything else we need to put in here? These radars, it's talking about the radar again. So he's talking about false signals. But even though the other person said it had a visual contact, so... But if it aims completely to the ground, the operator will immediately read it as the ground. But imagine that only tilts the angle enough to catch a tree or a ground object or even a wave. He's talking about ocean wave. That means the target appears on the radar, giving away the possibility of a wrong interpretation from the operator. Anything bigger than an insect will give away a radar signature. What's that mean? Anything bigger than an insect? Why, can a radar detect...
Jan is just saying now there's too much delay between chat and the live. I don't really know what that is.
Chat and
what's
live.
Causing
it. Delay between chat and live. I can't see what you mean by that.
I think he may be talking about us talking on the screen. I'm not really sure. As he's seeing it.
Alright. Beats me. It should be in sync on Google's end.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, it should be. I think that was it on the second page. Let's have a quick look. Is it? Don't think there was any other. No. Don't think there was any other possibilities they come up with. Here's one, is it? What's that one? Another very strange blue book unknown UFO case from Japan 4 years later.
So that would have made it 1952.
The Hinda
UFO incident.
You didn't pick up that one, Robert. On August.
No, I never.
Well, let's see if we can read it out.
Okay.
On August the 5th, 1952, just before midnight, two Air Force-controlled tower operators at the Haneda U.S. Air Force Base near Tokyo, Japan, noticed a brilliant light in the sky, joined others and watched it through 7x50 binoculars. The UFO approached the base slowly and hovered, plainly visible from the control tower. Behind the brilliant light, the observers could see a dark circular shape 4 times the light's diameter. A similar body light was visible on the underside at one point. The UFO hovered, flew curves and performed a variety of maneuvers. The object was tracked by ground radar, and an F-94 interceptor was scrambled.
Oh, we've exceeded our limit. Pay. I'm not sure where I got to now. I know what he means now. He's talking about the side chat. The text is independent of the video. And the text chats, when he posted the question, is way behind what we were looking at. Or way ahead of what we were looking at the time. So that makes sense. That's why I scrolled past what he was referring to. So, so where did we get to?
Sorry, yeah, that's just a slow getting back to you.
Oh well, we'll just have to use the other reader. I'll just read out that little chunk he's got here. Fortunately, my eye's watering for some reason. It is hay fever season now, I guess. That could be it.
The UFO was given chase by the F-94, tracked on ground radar also, and went into a series of circular maneuvers, repeated several times. At one point, the UFO suddenly raised away at a clocked speed of 300 knots, about 345 miles per hour, dividing into 3 separate radar targets at spaced intervals. Contact with the UFO either by radar or visually from an AFB was maintained for over 30 minutes. During this period, scattered witnesses saw the UFO exactly where radar showed it to be. Project Blue Book. The official public UFO study by the United States Air Force concluded that the UFO belongs to the category unknown, the euphemism that meant that it could not be anything common. The UFO maneuvers were so clearly under intelligent control that Major Dewey Fournette, the representative of Project Blue Book at the Pentagon, elected it one of the example that would prove that UFOs are spaceships from some other planet. Subsequently, the study of UFO maneuvers to prove they are spaceships was simply dropped. Later, the Colorado Project, a skeptical UFO study effort conducted for the USAF that did not want to deal with the UFO
I've lost the link to our live. Where's it disappeared to?
The visual UFO was reduced to a light that looked like a star. And the radar track, which was obviously the track of an intelligent controlled craft, was reduced to false radar echoes caused by a temperature inversion layer. Professor James McDonald.
Sorry about that, guys. I must have clicked on...
famous specialist of meteorology and atmospheric physics, who disagreed with the handling of UFO cases by the Condon Report. Ray evaluated and Ray investigated the case and demonstrated how erroneous the Condon Report conclusion on this case, and on many other cases, was.
Yeah, something happened there.
I mean, the Condon report was a joke. It was the dice were loaded before it even began.
I was trying to open up the link. Was that the one? No. It said there was a click link to the article. And it went wrong. Open it in the window to see if that works. In case we get stuffed up. Oh, that's to his blog. Okay.
What?
That's not the link to the article. He's linked it to his blog. Looks it. So this search normally. Here we go. So we got a FOIA here on it here as well.
Yep.
Well, looks of it. UFO sightings published. Haneda Air Force Base.
Haneda Air Force Base, Japan, 1952, July 19. Okay.
Captured during UFO sightings. That's today.
No, that's 2019. Yeah. So you need to. I don't know if you're going to open any one of them.
Let's just open this one and see what it gives us. So what they've gone to NICAP. He's referenced NICAP. So let's go to there then. Not found. Surprise, surprise. They don't exist anymore, do they?
Yeah, the dreaded 4/4.
Yeah. UFO report, NICAP. Oh no, it must be here then. They must have renamed the domain or something. Oh, it's very small writing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Case number 3. I'll post the link down the side anyway. So we've looked at this one here. I'm not sure if it sounds the same though, because I was mucking around. I wasn't actually listening to what the description of it was. Have we got a description here at all? I'll just post the link anyway. So others might be able to search it. Here we go. Independent visual detection at Tachikawa Air Force Base 10 minutes later. Intelligence report, blue book case file. So what did it look like? The attention was to a bright white light over Tokyo Bay. So that doesn't sound like a ghost rocket at that stage there then. Very for some time. Indicates that the luminous sources was of significant unusual brilliance, to cause two separate groups of Air Force controllers at two Air Force base airfields to respond independently and to take alert actions. So what did they think it was? Like a incoming rocket or something? More significant the fact that the Tachikawa controls saw the source in a direction over Tokyo Bay implies the line of sight distinctly south of east from there's that word thing, Tachikawa.
Takiawa.
Even with the north end of the bay lies to the ESE, east southeast.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they just show a diagram? Makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? Thus,
It would, yeah.
intersection of the two lines fell somewhere in the northern half of the bay, it would appear, and so this might be a USO then, if that's the case, and we'll be seeing later this is where the most significant parts of the radar tracking occurred. Okay. Statement gives a bearing of blood of the source of being NE, north. Just skimming through here. Anything else here? Let's. They notated sketch. Okay, we haven't got a sketch. Where's the sketch? It's a lot of words. A lot of words there. That's incredible. I might just have a look, see if we can look at some images. That's sometimes a better way to search. Just using images.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we got here?
No, it's just showing us the aircraft, isn't it? And what was that diagram at the top there?
I went past it, so you're way behind too. That one there. Japan
Okay,
Airlines
yeah.
Flight 123.
Nah, it's a different incident.
Yeah, this looks like all modern ones here, doesn't it? Probably
Yeah.
at the same airport though. Not Air Force Base, but at the airport. They get a lot of UFO sightings, right? Yeah, I don't see anything to do with that radar diagram at all. But yeah, we better move on, I guess.
Yeah. Onto the O Hare incident.
Yeah. How long will that one take, you reckon?
An hour or so.
Okay.
But it usually tends to be longer if I say that, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much she had though. So,
yeah, a fair bit on this.
Oh, that was the end of the
Okay,
article,
I've left the link for you.
I'll just close that down. Maybe I shouldn't post that one. I don't know. It's not worth posting that one, I don't think. Let's close that tab. Oh, there he is. Was it on that one? crushed though. What's that nonsense? Okay, let's close that tab. Okay, so they said it was in the bay, off that one, before we move on. Can you remember what the bay name was called? It'd have to be out this direction. They said it was near the island. I think it was that island there, wasn't it? Where the radar would have reached to.
Tsushima? No, I don't think that one's come up before.
I thought it was the name of the island they were talking about off the coast when we were reading it out. But anyway, next one is O Hare, so we need to type that one in, I suppose. Airport. Have we got it in the list? Whereabouts is it?
I've left you a link for.
Chapel.
It's Chicago.
Chicago, USA. There we go. Is it the airport? Let's see. So it is. It's quite big. Very big. Now what's all this around the outside? Is that runways? Yeah, it is too. How many runways has it got? That's crazy. It's one big square block there. So, which direction was the sight in on this one? Do you know?
No, it's all explained.
It's quite a big airport. Car parks here.
It was the baggage staff that seen most of the action.
Yeah. So, just close down other stuff. We're finished with that one. Okay. And this is what we found out about the O Hare Airport anyway, because we didn't know where the name come from. But it says down here, in 1949, to honour a Medal of Honour recipient, Naval Aviation Lieutenant Commander Edward H. Butch O Hare, who died in World War II. So that's where it's named after. We thought that was quite interesting, because we don't know why it was called O Hare. It's kind of a strange name, really.
We know now.
And we got some pictures here, but as we found out, a lot of it was meant to be CGI'd or faked, and also some of it they suspect was like dust on the window. I think it was this one here, was it? I think that was one picture, which doesn't look much like a hole. And there was another one here. I think it was that one. May have gone past it. Let's see. Maybe I went past it. I might have been this one. Looks like a smudge on the window. I don't know. I don't think it's obviously faked, because it's not very good fake, is it? I suppose someone was looking through the photographs that they took the day and said, aha, I think I got it on picture here, and sent it in maybe. But yeah, I think that if you type in O Hare UFO images debunked, we'll talk about the case in a minute, but see what we can find about debunking them. Here we go, that one's Photoshop. Well, that one's fairly obviously is Photoshop. Debunk. So has he got the other ones up on his site? Photoshopped above the airport, so it's probably lots of airports then. Is that all he's got? Not very good. It's this one here with the smudge.
I don't believe there are any good images from the incident, you know.
Yeah. there was a lot of witnesses to it, but and of course, wasn't the radar data taken or something as well? Alright, so here it says here, unlike most photography used on altered dimensions, photographs used in this article should be considered illustrative only. None have been successfully authenticated by AD, and at least one, the one above, is believed by many to have been digitally manipulated. Well, I thought it looks like it was a smudge on the window myself. If that's digitally made, it's a very poor editing job in my book. Let's see. In 2006, Chicago O Hare UFO sighting is regarded as one of the most well-documented and widely witnessed UFO sightings in modern history. Officially insisted on labeling the sighting a weather anomaly by witnesses, including over a dozen O Hare International Airport members, say the object was as clear as day. Metallic disc-shaped craft hovering over Gate
C-17 of the O Hare International Airport. The most significant thing about this case is not so much the sighting itself, but the cover by the FAA.
Yeah. So they got a bit here. Oh, there's another, obviously fake one.
Yeah.
But no one's taken a photograph of the hole in the cloud. You think, when you always got cameras on you at the airport because you go on holiday, you think someone would have filmed the hole in the cloud, surely, that it left, that they talked about.
Yeah, but it obviously did take place. There's too many people saying it did, but not to be a real event.
Yeah. So I'm not sure where Gate C-17 is on that. Which direction? I wonder if you can type C-17 in. Probably not. Probably not that accurate.
It's not going to recognise that.
You say Gate. Who knows? It might have some intelligence, maybe. Oh, right. There you go. It's near Starbucks. So it must have been in this area here then. That's what they're saying.
Where's the control tower?
Well, unless it's Google just messing with us. I did type in Gate. Why would it go there? But it has got a lot of things coming off for where people can go onto the plane there. Same over here. So that whole thing's terminal. So they walk down here and go to the planes, right? And they've got cafeterias in the hallway here. By the looks of it. Can we actually see numbers at all? Definitely looks like where planes come in. But I can't see any big letters on the ground saying C-17 or anything. But it looks like the right area, you know. There's the runway out here. That's a crazy airport design, though. I think pilots are really brave. So where's the radar dish on the ground here, you reckon? Man, that's a confusing place. Anyway, move on. You got a link. This is from MUFON, is it?
Yeah.
I read there. Okay. Why is it not giving me a tab? Oh, it's going slow for some reason. What's going on? Here we go. So we have to use the other reader if you want it read out. Oh, fine print there. That's a bit better. So we'll just read out that. I suppose it's going to be The best summary we've got. It won't let me grab the front of the letter. Damn it. Have you got someone at the door there?
Nah, that's a dog.
Well, let's see if I can go backwards on it. Tell him to stop opening doors.
It's about to open another one.
I reckon he was a previous life of Houdini. Yeah, he was Houdini. You should call him Houdini.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get that bit there, but it seems to want to go up the top there. Alright, well that will do.
Don't worry about it.
T approximately 16:15 Central Standard Time on Tuesday, November 7th, 2006. Federal authorities at Chicago O'Hare International Airport received a report that a group of 12 airport employees were witnessing a metallic, saucer-shaped craft hovering over Gate C-17. The object was first spotted by a ramp employee who was pushing back United Airlines Flight 446, which was departing Chicago for Charlotte, North Carolina. The employee apprised Flight 446's crew of the object above their aircraft. It is believed that both the pilot and co-pilot also witnessed the object. Several independent witnesses outside of the airport also saw the object. One described a blatant, disc-shaped craft hovering over the airport which was, obviously not clouds. According to this witness, nearby observers gasped as the object shot through the clouds at high velocity, leaving a clear blue hole in the cloud layer. The hole reportedly seemed to close itself shortly afterward. According to the Chicago Tribune's John Hilkevich, the disc was visible for approximately 2 minutes and was seen by close to a dozen United Airlines employees, ranging from pilots to supervisors, who heard chatter on the radio and raced out to view it. So far, no conclusive photographic evidence of the UFO has surfaced, although it was reported to Hilkevich that one of the United Airlines pilots was in possession of a digital camera at the time of the sighting and may have photographed the event.
Okay. I like the word may thrown in there though.
Mm-hmm.
Digital camera, 2006. When did I buy my one? 98, I think it was. It cost me, about $1,500, I think it was, and it was only 3 megapixel, and it was Canon, very early digital camera, and it could take 20 pictures before 4 AA batteries were drained. That was the maximum it could do, and the maximum memory on it was like probably about 40 pictures at 4 by 3, 3 megapixels, you see, and the images weren't that terribly great on it, but it was good for the time, you know. Okay, so the next bit here.
Reaction from the Federal Aviation Administration and United Airlines. Both United Airlines and the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, first denied that they had any information on the O'Hare UFO sighting until the Chicago Tribune, which was investigating the report, filed a Freedom of Information Act (FOIA) request. The FAA then ordered an internal review of air traffic communications tapes to comply with the Tribune FOIA request, which subsequently uncovered a call by the United supervisor to an FAA manager in the airport tower concerning the UFO sighting. The FAA stance concludes that the sighting was caused by a weather phenomenon and that the agency would not be investigating the incident. UFO investigators have pointed out that this stance is a direct contradiction to the FAA's mandate to investigate possible security breaches at American airports, such as in this case. An object witnessed by numerous airport employees and officially reported by at least one of them, hovering in plain sight, over one of the busiest airports in the world. Many witnesses interviewed by the Tribune were apparently upset that federal officials declined to further investigate the matter.
So, some cover-up there.
I'd say so.
Why wouldn't the FAA...
But the FAA are known for doing this, you know.
Yeah. Obviously, it didn't appear on radar, else they would have taken the data, right? Or did it? I don't know. I can't remember. Didn't say anything about radar data there, though, did it?
No, I don't think there was any.
What do we have to do? Is it carry on there? Or is that not all? Is that all we got?
That's all you've got on that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hang
Just to
on, let's just
recap there, yeah.
Media coverage. The Chicago O'Hare Airport UFO story was picked up by various major mainstream media groups such as CNN, CBS, MSNBC, Fox News, the Chicago Tribune, and NPR. On February 11, 2009, the History Channel aired an episode with the title Aliens at the Airport, in which they reconstructed the incident.
Okay. I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, just to recap there, yeah, the FAA stands for Federal Aviation Administration, just in case anybody's wondering what that stood for, what that acronym stood for.
Yeah, it was actually, didn't read it out when I did it. So where to next? We got Alice joining us. Hello, mate.
Oh, Alice. Hi, Alice.
Right. So you're on your iPad, I guess. At least you can watch YouTube videos. Shelley here. Her name's Shelley. Okay. Wish could get on chat room well before too long. She must be getting a proper computer then. Well, proper ISP.
Oh, good.
Got a new car. It's semi-monotonous and will drive itself. Yeah, I don't know if I'd trust that. Isn't the Tesla, what's that, the Tesla car meant to have that as well? And recently it was on the news that someone was filming an Asian guy sleep at the wheel when it was driving along the motorway. Anyway, so we're finished with MUFON now?
You've done with that one, and I've just dropped another link for you there, Paul.
Okay. Copy link. Seeing me trying to drive it this AM first time. Cool. It should be switching to probably electric way things are going with the petrol. I think USA's alright though. Oh, I posted it in the wrong place, haven't I? They call it gasoline in America. What is it? It's not a YouTube one, is it? Oh, it's come up with YouTube.
It is, yeah.
It's come up with the wrong one. I hope it's a safe one.
Well, so do I. It's not from a TV program anyway.
You say
There's
that,
no
but
music attached to it.
It might be from the History Channel.
No, it's not.
Okay. Looks like newscast.
Now, what this is the news conference, yeah, but it's actually before they go live, and they're just talking casually, and it's quite spooky.
Yeah, so speed it up anyway, just to be safe. Not that it really helps much.
Okay.
Sometimes it does.
Oh, hey, here's John. Hey, John.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Well, fine, thanks. How are you?
Busy with this UFO stuff.
Oh, my God. Did you see it hit the Fox crawl Monday night?
Did it? It's just been everywhere. I mean, I've been on CNN, my fourth appearance today.
Really?
Every MSNBC, every network.
Oh, my goodness.
And just worldwide. I mean, Australia, everywhere.
That's what we're going to start off. I'm going to say, and John, the response has been, well, out of this world, hasn't it? Congratulations. So where's the latest on the investigation of the FAA, then?
Well,
is by this time tomorrow going to prove it?
Yeah, United is now acknowledging that they were approached by employees. Mm-hmm. So they've done that flip-flop. And I'm trying to locate photos of this. I'm told there may be photos.
Really? Wow. That would be cool. I'm told that the story on CT has almost 1 million hits.
Yeah, it's the most read story in the history of CT.com.
You're kidding me.
I got an email yesterday from Bill Adee.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, Yeah, and the entire history of the website.
Oh, incredible.
So.
Incredible. So does the possibility exist you might get the pictures and get them in for tomorrow? Or
Oh, no, I don't think, no. I mean, I'm told the pilots on that plane that was being pushed back, I said in the story that they opened the windscreen and stuck their head out. Now I'm being told that one of them had a digital camera and snapped some pictures.
Wow.
So Unite is not playing ball with me, and FAA, I've expanded my FOIA to include the flight plan, which might include the pilots' names, and I'm trying to work with the union as well.
Are they still going by weather phenomenon?
FAA, pretty much because of the federal holiday, I haven't talked to them that much, but yeah, they haven't changed their story, and I've just heard from other people, since then that explanation just doesn't wash.
And they haven't gone out of their way to say anything otherwise so far?
No, I mean they say it was November 7th. They're moving on. They're just doing their daily thing.
Well, I tell you what, all the people who saw it must be feeling a little validated right about now, huh?
Oh yeah, and I'm getting tons of emails from other people who outside the airport as well as at O Hare who also either cited that same object or saw the hole in the sky and said, "What is that?"
Wow. Okay, so what did it look like again to the folks who saw it? It was a saucer-like
it was
hovering over the United terminal, right?
Yeah, directly over gate C-17. And it was stationary in the sky, dark gray metallic, like I say, saucer-shaped, no lights, and it was there for some minutes. And then when it disappeared, it just streaked through the clouds with such energy that it broke a blue hole in the overcast, and the hole remained there for several minutes until the wind drifted and pushed the clouds back together. So
the blue was the sky.
Yeah, the blue was the sky, but otherwise the entire skyline was cloudy.
Totally overcast, huh? Man.
So it's nothing. An airplane just doesn't react like that. It slices through, and it doesn't disturb the atmosphere.
Not too sure on that.
Man.
I think the weather phenomenon is bullshit.
Yeah, but you get full streak holes, right? So let me just pause it there.
It doesn't add up with the sighting. Do you know what I mean? It makes you think what kind of propulsion system could create a perfect hole, like a cookie cutter in the cloud. I can only imagine it must have been extreme heat.
Yeah, but full streak holes do form perfect circles because of the ice crystals. So we got some images of some here. That one looks like a Canadian leaf. What do you call it? Maple tree. So here's various ones. That one looks like it's almost a perfect circle with a little puff of cloud underneath. But apparently these get triggered when an airplane passes through the cloud layer. The hot air triggers the ice crystals to form somehow because of the layers or something. And it causes a reaction where it forms and opens up a hole. Let's see. I'll see if we can find some information on it. There's another one here. Another one here looks like almost like a blob of water. There's a perfect hole there. I think it's similar to that one we saw at the top here, was it? Somewhere there. Another perfect circle. There's a good one. See what I mean, Robert? So that's what it's been explained away as.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Yeah, okay, that's what it's been explained away as, but it just doesn't stack up with all the witness testimony, does it?
No, but the hole in the cloud, it would could be.
Yeah, well, that's what they fell back on.
Yeah, but with the heat given off from a UFO object or plane going through the cloud level can cause the whole streak to happen. Now, let's see if we can find some information on it.
Okay.
Whole streak hole. How they made. Let's see if it comes up with the same listing first. Okay, full streak hole, also known as a hole punch cloud, forms when part of the cloud layer forms ice crystals, which are large enough to fall as a full streak. They form in clouds of supercooled water droplets below 0 degrees, but not yet frozen. So that's why it doesn't sort of come down like hailstones, I guess. hole patch forms as part of the cloud layers forms ice crystals. But I'm not too sure how that opens up a hole though. Full streak hole is large gap, usually circular or elliptical, that can appear in cirrocumulus luminous or alco-luminous clouds, such as which are formed when the water temperature of the clouds is below zero. It is thought that the introduction of large numbers of tiny ice crystals into the cloud layer sets off the domino effect. I'm pretty sure the planes flying through the cloud layer can trigger it. So you can't really rule that one out there, I don't think, Robert.
Well, yeah, of course, that's why the FAA used it, didn't they?
Yeah. But of course, a UFO is a craft passing through a cloud layer as well, which can cause the full streak hole to happen. So you can't really rule it out being a alien ship as well. So it's still a craft passing.
You can't rule it out entirely for sure.
No.
But I think it was their best guess how to explain it.
Yeah, but depends what the hole looked like. No one's got a photograph. Well, that thing with the digital camera though doesn't make sense. If there was some pictures taken, why can't we find them online from that particular digital camera? So someone's obviously taken it and suppressed it. You'd think the guy though would keep a copy of it if it's on his computer or whatever, because 2006, right? Early luggable computers back then with small hard drives and called floppy disks, if you remember those. I'm pretty sure he would have backed it up. So anyway, we'll just close that down here. So we'll just carry on listening to the rest of that. Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
Claiming there's a crazy woman on YouTube claiming these clouds puddles Planet X.
Planet X.
Dr. Claudia Albus, PhD, of all things, huh? She calls herself from South Africa, seen to believe Planet X specialist. Yeah, I think I've heard her name brought up before, actually. Who used her? There was some Dazzle the cameraman, he debunks all the Planet X stuff, and I'm pretty sure that's where I heard it. Him having a fight with some channel. Is it Planet X News or something like that? Anyway, just carry on with the rest of this one.
Other interviews set up after this, John?
Yeah, I'm going back on a radio station, a couple of radio stations this afternoon, and then Headline News has a show I'm doing at 3 o'clock.
Okay. Ooh, I'll have to watch if I'm... Yeah, we'll have to set then. Okay, Australia, what other international?
Oh my God! I mean, all over Europe.
Oh my gosh!
Hearing from people, Ireland, they say, we heard about what's happening at O Hare.
I mean, which O Hare?
I mean, just as well as serious, researchers at major U.S. universities who've attempted to do their own investigations, and when they go to the government to try to get information, they get stonewalled. So there really is this universal feeling that the government knows a lot more than it's willing to tell.
Oh, man. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, come on.
I'm just going to say...
Okay, here we go. I think it's so cool that I was the first one to get to talk to you about it.
That's right, last Friday.
Yay. Okay. The UFO Hare story, the Chicago Tribune, exclusive
broadcast.
There's a broadcast.
Yeah, it's before it actually goes live. So what we're listening to is,
So we don't need to hear it now?
You can play the rest of it if you like, but if you're afraid of a copyright strike, don't worry about it.
Yeah, probably best to leave it there then.
Okay. Yeah, I've got another link for you here, Paul.
Yeah, our last live, if you just joined us, we actually got a copyright claim put on us by Unsolved Mysteries of all things. and I put our counterclaim in, and they refused to accept fair use on it, which is a bit unfortunate because it is definitely fair use, because we used it in presentation as an example to expand the information from what they initially said, which was what we did do. But they just won't have it. I find this is a problem with anything out of Hollywood. They just don't accept fair use. I've been done for playing a trailer of all things. A trailer's like a promo clip where if you use it on your live, they're getting advertising from it, free advertising, and they still won't allow you to, even though I haven't got ads, they won't allow you to put ads on your 3-hour stream, even though you did a 1-minute trailer. So I think that's just wrong. That's just bad law making right there. It's fair use. Full stop. Sorry, so long. Much thanks. So long from what? Did I miss something?
I think she just skipped off for a little bit.
Oh, right. Okay, so we got another link here. Was it? Copy.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw what I posted yesterday, but Mick West was on a show. He's the debunker that everybody hates because he's got a bit of an ego that everybody sees, that he's never wrong. But I think he is a wee bit humble. He will admit if he's wrong or not too sure and stuff. So he actually asks other people.
Yeah, he's a gentleman.
Yeah,
but no doubt about that, no question. But,
but
nothing goes unexplained with Mick.
Yeah,
Mick knows it all.
Yeah, he's very polite. But apparently he was on this live yesterday, and Google shut it down before many people got to see it. The people on the live stream got to see it, but right after it got sort of taken down pretty quick. And lucky enough, the guy uploaded it to other channels, but they said it was hate speech, and I listened to the whole thing, and I never heard any hate speech on it, but they did sort of mock a little bit how gullible people were in UFO field and conspiracies, 9/11 and all that. So yeah, I think the hate thing where they can delete videos like that is unacceptable, really. If you're upset about something, don't watch it. It's that simple. Or instead of deleting the video, force a pop-up where people got to click OK to continue. Warning, the next video may upset some snowflakes. Please get your safe blanket before clicking the OK button or something like that, But yeah, I like to take a mickey out of this sort of stuff, It's just stupid. Eventually it's going to happen to me. I'll be probably having to deal with all this stuff. So there's that guy again. So where are we going to go from here, Robert?
Oh yeah, you can skip that bit anyway.
It's got the terrible background on here. It looks like a hand or something. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ghost hands. Both United Airlines and Federal.
This goes into a little bit more detail, okay?
It's concluded the sighting was just caused by weather phenomenon. Have we had any other information here, though? Okay, so what have we got here? Wrong. So what's wrong here? Okay, let's just read it from there onwards then. Oh, we got some comments at the end. Sometimes comments can be useful.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, let's just read it out from there and see where we go. I think recaps.
The FAA stance concludes that the sighting was caused by a weather phenomenon and that the agency would not be investigating the incident. UFO investigators have pointed out that this stance is a direct contradiction to the FAA's mandate to investigate possible security breaches at American airports, such as in this case. An object witnessed by numerous airport employees and officially reported by at least one of them. Hovering in plain sight over one of the busiest airports in the world. 5 to 6 many witnesses interviewed by the Tribune were apparently upset that federal officials declined to further investigate the matter. Source: Wikipedia. So then the million-dollar question is, where are the resulting UFO images? With all the camera packing travelers in one of the most busiest airports in the U.S., we could assume that some evidence exists, right? Wrong. Incredible as it sounds, there is no compelling photograph or video footage of this famous UFO incident released. At least not to the public. Those images that are floating around the web claiming to be that of the O Hare UFO have been labeled as fakes. Only one of them is known throughout the UFO community as a possible real photograph. According to some rumors, Dan Aykroyd has most of the photos taken that day. Yes, the actor Dan Aykroyd came forward and claimed that he was in possession of some of the Chicago O Hare photographs and or film taken by witnesses. But here's where the story ends. Neither the Chicago Tribune or Aykroyd himself have come forward with any other evidence that could shed light to this modern mystery. Could it be possible for someone like Dan Aykroyd to buy up all the photographs of this supposed UFO? Why hasn't he released them to the public? Dan Aykroyd, are you reading this? Tell us. Why?
No, he's part of the CIA cover-up then. Eh? What do you think on that then?
I don't really know what to make of it, but Dan Aykroyd, he done an interview where he said he was a big believer in UFOs and he'd seen some stuff in his time, and so it makes sense that some people would, if they had photos, they would have sent them to him.
Yeah, but why didn't he release them all by now?
Well, exactly.
Especially by now. We're talking about 13 years later. So, So when was this article published, though? Let's see. Have we got a year number here?
2013.
Where does it say that? Oh, right, yeah, up here. So I guess he hasn't replied to it unless it's in the comments. So let's have a look. Most busiest. Seriously? Good content, terrible editing. So it doesn't reckon it's the most busiest airport. Probably isn't nowadays. But we saw it on the Google Maps here. You can see it's a massive airport. So it is pretty busy, obviously.
Yeah.
Runways. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parallel runways there. So 7 planes can land at once. And then they can taxi in all here to connect up to the right passenger links. And they can even taxi down through here too, Bullocks. What is it?
And I mean, it's a major international airport. There's no question about that.
Yeah. So obviously they can taxi down here, get to these other things here on the map. What do you call them? Terminals.
What interest the UFO had over a commercial airport, I mean, I don't really know, but it's not an isolated case, is it?
No. So what are they saying down here? Can we get the font bigger? What's going on? Oh, that's a bit better. So what have we got? Quite a lot of reading here. Hi, ever-loving human being. Sounds a bit of a crackpot thing to say.
I don't think it's... I was just going to say that, Paul.
Mr. Dan Aykroyd is incapable of bringing up a wonderful photo of an alien event that bypasses the Frau so Frau scared cowering in... I can't remember that fear.
Mesmerized fear of this factuality.
It sounds like a Jesus freak. Oh, here we go. Jesus wept in hell. Yeah, there you go. He sounds like a religious person. Probably calls it devils or something. In Godness airships. Goodness airships, not Godness. Airships that left himself be captured on the recording device. What the hell's he on about? Oh, he goes on a bit.
Mate, I'd rapidly skip that one.
Yeah. First off, Aykroyd is a nutter, is he? No way he could
Some say so.
have brought up any photos without anyone else knowing about it. Especially John Hikevich, is it? Off Chicago Tribune. Second, if you ever been in a busy airport catching a flight, you don't have time to look up in the sky for UFOs. But if it's hovering over above a plane, right, and you're looking out the window at the planes, which you do at the airport, you're going to see it. Even if you see something, by the time it occurs to you to take out your cell phone, whatever is gone. That's very true. How long did it hover for? I can't remember if it said anything at the time it hovered by the eyewitnesses.
Apparently, it was there a decent amount of time, at least a couple of minutes.
Right. So that's probably enough time to get a picture of it then. Or even a video.
I thought so.
A video, at least. A relatively small object at 1900 feet in the air won't even show up. So was it 1900 feet, was it?
Well, there you go. Now, that's a very sensible point, to be honest.
So we just worked out...
It's not going to come out too well.
We worked out 1,000 feet was 300 meters to us. So that's 500 meters away. So that's not too far, really. What's that visually? What's 500 meters look like? Well,
a mile.
I can't even see one typing. Okay. Unfortunately, my eyes have gone a bit blurry. Have you got anything that will show us? Convert to miles.
It's.
I wanted to know what it looked like on Google Earth or something. Oh, here we go. What's that tell us here? 200 meters. Let's have a look. Empire State Building goes up 450 meters. I suppose that would be 1900 feet, wouldn't it? So let's just work that out. I think it's 500 meters, I'm just guessing. So let's see, 1900 feet to meters. Oh, there you go, it wasn't too wrong. 579 meters. So yeah, I think if you looked up at the Empire State Building, if the object is at very top, it would be very hard to see it, wouldn't it? Certainly for a camera. So that's a good example there. Now what's that one there? Always like to look at a car park to see where a car is relative to where the person's standing. That's normally a good example. How far away down the street it is, or whatever. But yeah. Was it 1900 feet in the article? Or was that just quoted wrong there? How high was O Hare UFO? What does it say here? So we got to often reference it to multiple sources just in case the facts are wrong. Okay, this Wikipedia should have it, shouldn't it? So what does it say here? Witnesses described the object as completely silent, 6 to 24 feet. That's a fairly wide range of changes there. Let's just zoom down a bit. From 2 meters to 7 meters diameter. Why is it so different? Dark grey in colour. Well, it will look dark grey if it's silver, right? And it's overcast. Hovering over airport, but how high up was it? It doesn't say here. Object shot through the clouds at high velocity. Which UFO, good UFO sightings do. They sort of hover and then they shoot off into space within 2 seconds, like turn into a star or whatever. Doesn't say anything about height there, does it? The Wikipedia generally would have that information. So I'm not sure where you got the 1900 from. Well, cloud layer, like I said, was about 1,000 feet, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think more importantly, let's just presume now this was a UFO. What kind of propulsion system would have left that cookie cutter size hole in the cloud? I can only surmise that it was tremendous heat.
Well, if it's like a full streak hole, as we read, it can be triggered by something that's passing through it that triggers the ice crystals to suddenly domino effect. So the size is not important, it's the amount of heat like jet engines are producing to cause a chain reaction where it melts some ice. I can't see any information about the height there, but I'm assuming they're talking about cloud layer, so that's probably where they got the information from. How high was cloud, maybe?
Yeah, well, obviously it was below the cloud. The object is below the cloud, so...
Yes. So what have we got here? Here we go. 1,200 feet, the same here. Ceiling is broken at 6,500. Over here, international weather. So that's not talking about the UFO sighting though, it's just talking generally.
No.
Broken clouds at a height of 3,600 feet there. So it does look like it starts at 1,200 feet here.
Yeah, now Dahl has made a very good point here, okay? What he's saying...
Yeah.
But, oh, hold on. There's some logo covering one. Anybody that's airside cannot have a phone on them. Maybe because it interferes with the electronics of I'm not 100% sure, but he's made an excellent point.
You're not allowed to mobile phone.
Not everybody had the camera there waiting for this thing to appear, Paul.
Well, like I said, back in 1998, if you left the
That's an excellent point, Del.
If you left the camera on 4 AA batteries, it would drain the batteries. So just on standby, and it wouldn't even do you could do like I think it was 5 photographs with flash, and then the batteries were dead in the camera I've got. I still got it up in the drawer because you can't get rid of it. It's just garbage. But I thought I'd keep it anyway because I spent so much money. You know how you spend so much money on something, you can't get rid of it. So yeah, so just talking about the radar system picks up 1,200 feet to 500 feet, 6,500 feet. So there you go. So obviously that guy's picked 1,900 from somewhere, but it does sort of fit what he's saying. So if we said it was below cloud level, I'd say it'd probably be more like 1,100 feet or 1,000 feet, right? So that sort of makes more sense. But I don't know if it was on that day. What was the date? What was the date? Can you remember what the date was?
It was 2006, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what was the date? Because I suppose you might have historic weather. You might be able to look it up on the weather thing. It's possible.
Yeah, it was the 7th of November, Paul.
Oh, here we go. Look at this one here. Punching a hole in clouds. So someone's been talking about it. So someone's probably talking about it in the same way I am. So what's that there? Punching a hole in the cloud. Be visited. So what's that photograph from? Looks like a Photoshop. Looks like a ceiling light. Okay, can we read that? We got some lot of fake images with it. On November, there we go, 7th, 2006, around about 4 p.m, a dull overcast day, a UFO was spotted by a number of witnesses. So what does it say here? Disc-shaped craft, which we've talked about. Around 30 feet, but Wikipedia said it went from 2 meters all the way up to 7 meters. According to eyewitnesses, it stays around for somewhat 5 to 15 minutes. That's plenty of time to get a camera out, though. 5 minutes, and then disappeared at a rapid rate. The object was first spotted by an airport ramp employee, which we heard already. Flight 456. How convenient number is that? What else we got here? 2 mechanics working in the hangar on a UA aircraft overheard the radio chatter. They looked out and saw a strange object 100 to 200 feet below the cloud cover. Okay. So that's given us some clues there. They describe a grey oval-shaped craft and confirmed it was not like any blimp or plane they were familiar with. So that, mechanics should have a good idea because they fix the planes, right? Also witnessed the object ascended rapidly, leaving a well-defined tunnel through the clouds. They call it a tunnel there. A couple of office workers also here in the radio chatter left their building to see an elliptical dark metal craft above the airport, then witnessed the strange craft accelerate so fast into the clouds that it seemed to have left in a blur. United Airlines had notified TSA security. At least a dozen O Hare employees are believed to have witnessed, so we read that on the other one. So what are these guys going to say to it here? This report is a revised version of the original. So it goes on a bit again. So what's changed? Really want to know what's changed from the original. The witness had indicated above that the event probably occurred at, what's that saying? 4:40 p.m. Well, that changes it. That's quite a difference from 4:15. We believe that 4:30 is the more accurate estimate. So it's a bit of a varied time there, isn't it? You think people had watches on at the time and look at it after they saw the sighted, because that's generally what I would do. Should provide the exact time that the incident was reported to O Hare Central Tower. So if they reported it to the tower, the tower's not going to see anything, is it? That's gone by then. A management employee for a major airline and was sitting in my office at around 4:30 when an employee made a radio call to our station operations center concerning an object hovering over gate C17. So we've come across that information before. I ran out of my office and saw a relatively small object, saying it's small, hovering in place over C17. The META was reporting OVC 1900. Here we go. So that must be the atmospheric radar was supporting OVC. Yeah. So
okay, so at about 1,000 feet.
No, 1900. So that's where that guy got the information from.
No. Estimated the object hovering, Paul, at about 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
After about a minute, I saw the aircraft zip to the east and disappeared.
Yeah, so that's not a couple 100 feet difference, though. What was said above before. That's 900 feet difference. So what's it mean by that term there? OVC. What's that come up with? I don't think it's that. We need to put radar in probably. What's the terminology here? Oh, jeez.
It would help if you spelt it right.
Yeah, but where you see where my keyboard is, I have to lean over to get to it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bedroom setup then.
History of radar. OVC. What's OVC stand for? That's what we want to know.
Yeah, I mean, you're going off on a tangent now.
Tangent? What? Trying to find out what it means by OVC and the reports. Radar.
Okay.
Terminology. Radio detection and ranging. That's what radar stands for, but we know that. OVC. Airbus. No, that looks like a plane number. Overhang radar term including region of high reflectability. Okay, let's just have a look at that one. Here we go. This is what we want. So we got OVC listed there. Quite a lot of O's in front of stuff. Ozone. OVR. Over. Yeah, I don't know. OVC, here we go. Overcast. That's what it means. An official sky cover classification for aviation weather observation when the sky is completely covered by an obscuring phenomenon. This is applied only when obscuring phenomenon aloft are present, not when...
At least we got to the bottom of it.
Such as fog. So it's a special cloud cover term where it's completely covered over. So at 1900, so it was cloud cover was solid at 1900 feet. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, there's a difference between a couple hundred feet and 900 feet there for where they said the object was. So definitely 1,000 feet, 300 meters away, you'd be able to see that in the sky, wouldn't you? Quite clear. 300 meters. Because we just looked at 300 meters. That's a distance of a football field, isn't it? Is it?
Football field.
No,
300 meters.
No. 300 feet. I was thinking off there. 300 meters.
But
visual.
100 yards of football field, Paul. 300 meters, 300 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way too big.
Looks like we ain't going to get any visuals on it. A car park's always a good one. If you get a car park. Oh, here we go. No. Sometimes you can pick up a good image where it shows you 300 meters looks like on a street. And so it gives you an idea of how far away a car is like. Okay. No. I wish Google was a wee bit more clever. What's it look like? Try that. No. It's not going to give us anything. Oh well. Yeah, so 100 meters is the length of a football field, you said. So we're looking at 3 football fields away. So that's going to be looking pretty small, though, isn't it? So I can see why people could it's estimate the size, right? I maybe called our operations center. So is anything else here that we need to? Employee stated the object was 500 to 1,000 feet here above the ground, so that changes a bit as well. Rotating.
It's not that far off, though, is it? You know, and it depends where the witness has seen it. Did it stay at the same altitude the whole time? We don't know that, do we? Thing could be moving about. And people, you know, the average guy isn't the best judge of distance, you know, or altitude.
So it does sound like an unknown aircraft of some sort.
You know, you can waste a whole lot of time on that kind of thing because the witness statement's always going to be a bit random, you know.
Well, the Wikipedia page didn't have all that information. It needs to be updated with all that extra information this guy's dug up.
Wikipedia, it's open source. It's a shite source for any information, in my opinion.
Not always, but depends who.
It's fine if you want to know a pop singer's career or the average stuff like that. But
okay,
it's not good for fringe topics.
We got another one here. Around 4:30, a pilot made a comment in the radio about a circle or disc-shaped object hovering over things. So that you can't distinct that being a plane if it's like a circular disc, right? And an airplane pilot should be like a credible witnesses, but obviously the skeptics always say FUBAR, that no one's a credible witness, could be mistaken, right? Because FBI's done tests on it, on eyewitness accounts and studies and all that sort of stuff, and they've done COPS as well as reports and found that they vary quite a lot. At first we laughed to each other, and then the same pilot said again on the radio that was about 700 feet, okay, above ground level, so that's probably more accurate.
Yeah, well, of course, because it's coming from the pilot.
Yeah, the day was overcast with the ceiling being reported at 1,600 feet, so it's
1,600 feet, yeah.
So a pilot would know.
It's going to change, isn't it, Paul? You're taking random opinions of random websites here. You're never going to get a consistent distance, are you?
But that's why I'm bringing it up, so we can be full look at the whole case. I know it sort of annoys you, but I looked for the details, and you probably don't look for the details as much as I do.
No. That's fair. Yeah, okay, that's a fair comment.
You can be the believer with 20% skeptic, and I can be the skeptic, the evil one. And
yeah, hate you, Paul.
Yeah, you can hate me. Okay, what's the side chat been talking about while I've been reading that out? Interesting sighting. Yang, good point. Think there's any truth the baggage handlers were told to be quiet on their sighting? Well, it doesn't seem to be, because they reported it in the newspaper, haven't they?
They did at the time, but they seemed to prevent them from coming out and giving more detailed explanations.
I don't think this case can be debunked. Too many witnesses, true, and pilot witnesses as well, as we're just reading.
I think you'd even agree with that, Paul.
Of course, so I'm not saying I don't believe it's not a UFO. I think it's one of the best cases. So what else we got here? I was taxiing a Boeing 777 from the international terminal to the company hangar on the north side. We passed C terminal on the Alpha taxiway. We observed a dark grey, hazy, round object hovering over O Hare International Airport. It was definitely over the C terminal. It was holding really steady and appeared to be trying to stay close to the cloud cover. 700 feet versus 1,600 ceiling is not close. The radio interrupted with a chatter about the object. And the ATC controller was handling ground traffic made a few smart comments about the alleged UFO sighting above the sea terminal. So why would he make a smart comment? I don't understand. We had to continue moving the aircraft to the hangar. After parking, I noticed the craft was no longer there, I think he means to say, but there was a almost perfect circle in the cloud layer where the craft had been. The hole disappeared a few minutes later, so it closed up. For the rest of the night, there was jokes made on the radio about the sighting. Really? So it was never taken seriously. By the sounds of that, it was made fun of. This individual was interviewed at length by one of the investigators involved in a follow-up investigation. The investigators were highly impressed with the witness credentials and with his description of what he saw. We deemed this witness to be highly credible. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was NUFORC site. What did that stand for again?
NUFOC, yeah. I think that's a place you can go to explain what you've seen in confidence.
Oh, that's what it's.
I can't actually talk to the guy that
National UFO Reporting Centre. National.
That's it.
Yeah, you got to let me get a word in sometimes. Yeah, I just come to my head then, because I remember Open Minds used to invite him on, didn't they, to talk sometimes on the radio show?
That's the same guy.
Or was it Coast to Coast? I think it might have been Coast to Coast, actually, not Open Minds.
No, the same guy who ran that site was on Open Minds, you know. He used to be on the group there. And I did talk to him a couple of occasions. Nice guy.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the radio and radio channels out there. I think he reported some of the best cases for the week or something. So what else we got here? So there's Terminal C picture there. Which I think we looked on the map. Was down at the bottom here somewhere. Down here. Looks like the same type of area. Starbucks around about here. Looks like the same thing. Looks like it's got a V shape going off there. But anyway, what else we got here? This is Sue in United Tower. Oh, here. Hey, Sue, United Controller. Hey, did you see a flying disc out by C-17? Oh, it starts, Sue. You're seeing flying discs? Well, that's what a pilot in the ramp area at C-17 told us. They saw some flying disc above them. Come on, Sue. You didn't see it. Hey, you guys, been celebrating the holidays or anything like that? I haven't seen anything, Sue. If I did, I wouldn't admit to it. So that right there, they're saying if they saw it, they won't admit to it. The air traffic controller won't admit to it. So maybe that's part of the problem, attitude.
Mm-hmm.
So what's this one here? PM United Controller to FAA Area Supervisor. There was a disc out there flying around. There was what? A disc? A disc, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. What can I do for you? I'm sorry, there was. I told Dave there was a flying disc outside above Charlie 17. And he thought it was pretty much high. But I'm not high and I'm not drinking. So someone got a picture of it, so you guys see it out there. A disc like frisbee, like a UFO type thing. Yeah, okay. United Controller, he got a picture of it. How high above Charlie 17? Well, it was above our tower. So, United Controller, some of our employees, I don't know if you know any about this, some of our pilots on the ground are reporting a UFO sighting at 1,000 feet to the east of the airport. Do you guys know anything about this tower? You know, the ramp tower called me, I want to say about 10-15 minutes ago. We have not seen anything up there. You think a tower would have binoculars though, wouldn't you? If they're reporting a UFO, wouldn't you get out the binoculars and look?
Well, I believe it was right above head, and the roof on the tower prevented them from actually seeing it visually.
That makes sense if it's right above them. So where's
Yeah.
the tower on the map here then? There, isn't it? Toby Tower. Could that be the tower? It should have the tower on the map, shouldn't it? So, Airport Chapel. Don't want that. If it's above them, Delta Sky, McDonald's. They got a lot of fast food there. Starbucks, multiple Starbucks. Well, I can't see where the tower is. Where is it? Doesn't make any sense. Over here, Airport Rescue. Can't see any towers. You should be able to spot a radar. Oh, here we go. What's that there? That looks like a radar tower. Let's cast a shadow. So maybe Google's told us wrong the direction.
Yeah. But look at the overhang. Look at the overhang on the ceiling of that.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to see up, would they? Less
No.
on the roof. So that was where they said the tower was, and that's where the tower is here. Oh, here. So it's in the right location then. So that's alright. That sort of fixes that up for me. So what else do we need to look at here? I suppose we should just be wrapping it up soon now. Coming up to 3 hours already.
Yeah.
Have you got more stuff?
I wanted to bring one more thing before we close down.
I would do that. It doesn't matter how long we go.
Okay, nice one.
Unless you've got time restriction.
No, I've got no time restriction, Paul.
I'll just skim through the rest of it here. What's this picture here? You can see, obviously, it's through a window. We've got a reflection here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's digitally modified, surely. Actual photograph here. Is that the hole closing up, perhaps? That could be like a hole in the cloud, right?
It could well be.
People are saying it's digitally edited, but maybe not. But with all this here, with the dark lines and reflection of another window, you could see that could be like a reflection of something inside the terminal.
Do you know what? I think that's more likely to be a hole in the cloud rather than the actual object itself that created it.
Hey, let's stick that in the editor. It's got me interested now.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's have a closer look at it. Here we go. And what else we got down here? We got some other photographs. Now, as far as I recall, there was only ever one photo that has not been dismissed. And sure enough, when I checked, these photos were debunked by Jeff Ritzman back in 2007. So now we've got reflections. You can see more reflections on this one. But I don't see a UFO on this one.
No.
The first is actually flipped and cropped version of the buff photo. Oh, hey, hang on. They're saying it's the same photograph.
Okay.
I reckon it's been reversed and cropped. So there's that window pattern there. Hey, let's see if that's true then. I can save that one as well. And I can put it through the editor and see if that's true. And that's another poorly done one there. That one looks a bit suspect. Screenshot from the unexplained files. So that could be CGI if it's on a TV show. Second one was also cropped and flipped from the photo above. So that one there. Right. You can see that's been added then. There's the tail fins. So that one there definitely looks the same. Looks like it's been rotated as well. So there's the jet engine there, but they flipped it around. So some hoaxers faked it. Don't you just hate that? And you can see there's no black mark there from what I can see anyway. But why would you flip it if you're not trying to mislead people? So there you go. Second was cropped.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That was really good. I like that little bit. That's the stuff I like to see.
Yeah. What's your speciality?
Yeah. Looking at images. Our Hare case is one of the best, but I still doubt it for the following reasons. So we've got a skeptic here. O Hare is a big airport, I think the 5th biggest, busiest in the world, in a populated area, and yet only 6 people saw the disc in the sky. Yeah, but I've had this case before where you walk along and you look up in the sky to look at something, and people just keep on walking and looking at their phones. They don't, or whatever, or reading a book or whatever, and never bother stopping and looking up what you're looking at. Now you should try it sometime. Mm-hmm. Just go on a busy street and look up and see how many people come along and then stop and look up as well. It's a good test. You'll see a lot of people don't bother, but maybe it's changing now with all the UFO publicity that's going on. Don't forget the pilot and airline stigma. All the pictures and videos turned out to be fake. Sue Control Tower didn't see it herself, but then we just saw a reason because it's got an overhang and it's shaped in a strange shape, so it was above her visual sight, and maybe, I don't know. You'd have to go there and stand where the air traffic controller is and look out the window and take a snapshot of where Terminal C is. So I don't know. But it could be like above her vision that she could see. For sure, it's possible. So we'll just close that one down now. And what was the other comments here before we close this one down? Oh. Very odd vehicle. I forgot I put super zoom on here. Unknown to this day. Baked waters, what's that got to do with it?
Yeah.
I was at the airport 2 years later and felt off-world entities greeted me as I waited foamy flight. I am a medium and telepathic.
Oh, God.
I'm sure you did. People don't believe her. The FAA and United Airlines know that there was a UFO sighted. And full of shite. When they saw there was nothing there. Obama. What answers do you want? FAA, they don't know any more than you do. NSA department, X knows probably AFSOC 2. Whatever that stands for. You know, I don't know what these guys are on about. Dan Aykroyd on record.
Yeah, back to him.
Please, Aykroyd is a wonderful man. He owns a vineyard and winery on Niagara Peninsula. No,
Peninsula.
Peninsula. Not too
That's a
far.
bit of land that jets out from the sea into the sea.
Yeah, I know that. Toronto. So he's up in Canada, is he? What's your problem? Yes. Edward has been extremely vocal. He did a TV series with Strange Mysteries, Paranormal and stuff. I can't remember what it was called now.
Yeah, there's a 2-hour interview with him on YouTube somewhere where he talks about UFOs and Men in Black and crazy stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a lot of comments here. There's quite a lot of comments.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything useful in the comments here. I question the reports of a UFO poking a hole in the cloud layer. If it were travelling at speeds that would cause a draft that would pull the cloud layer out of place, the surrounding clouds would be pulled inwards. If it were travelling at a speed that would generate a shock wave that might push clouds out of the way, it would generate multiple sonic booms of which there is no report. We're given some sort of force field of which we have no knowledge, then why would it push the clouds and not the rest of the atmosphere? If it would push the rest of the atmosphere, then again there should have been sonic booms and possible other effects that, like visual distortion as light was refracted through and rapidly changing air densities. Okay. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what he's trying to say. But yes, UFOs, alien technology, obviously they're going to be using something that we don't understand. So to relate it to our understanding of science is not always going to be practical. There was no sonic boom if it was no build-up of pressure. That's very true. Or friction. And there would be no build-up of pressure or friction if the acceleration was due to anti-gravity propulsion. Yep, I guess so. Plus the shape of it is obviously going to make it less sonic boomy, I reckon. Secondly, even if the propulsion was not due to anti-gravity, what to say the disc broke the sound barrier in a few seconds before it reached the low cloud cover? So you've experienced anti-gravity propulsion to make this assessment. So yeah, he's just going to get attacked over that. Bravo! Mike, I wonder if that's Mike, Mick West pretending to be Mike. Anyway, just leave that one there, I guess. Just people want copies of that. We'll just close it. So we got some pictures to look at here. So just open up the last one. Hopefully got the right one there. That should be the bigger one, is it? It looks a bit small. Okay, so what's the other one? Oh, what did I just do? Go to error message. I'm not sure what I clicked there. Open with paint.net. Okay, that's the one with the hole, wasn't it? So let's just see. Oh yeah, actual little hole there. I just wanted to have a look at that hole. Has it been digitally added? Sounds like it might have been if we got original picture that they found. Copy. Looks pretty crap.
Yeah. But I mean, you have to realise that's probably been analysed 1,000 times before.
Oh, they reckon it's the original picture, JPEG.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose it's been put through the JPEG compression thing, because we can actually see the pixels there. There we go. Is that the hole there? No, the hole's going underneath. Does look like it's sort of added. You can see there's the hole there, over top of other pixels here. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So this one, select all, and actually we'll import and see if we can get it to match up on this other one they claim it was taken from. Import, can't see it. Where's import? Layer. Oh, here it is. So that one. Well, looks like it's been resized too then, hasn't it? Is it the same aircraft? Someone's got a little logo on the corner there, it ruins it. Looks like it's that size there. Almost. So what else we got? We've got the bins. So what you have to do is flip that horizontally. Looks like it went the wrong way. Flip it. Should be horizontal. What's going on here? Oh, here we go. Must have hit the wrong one. Yeah, now we can get the right size. And that moves the handles. That's got to be a bug. Does look like it's the same image, eh? And we can't see the same hole there, I don't think. But we'll change around the colours. So it's definitely been taken from there. 100% identical. We can put transparency on. Overlay maybe. Oh, there you go, look. Complete match almost. So far it's slightly too high up, I think. Okay, so okay on that. There you go, guys. That's how we prove it. It's identical. So let's have a look in the sky. Let's get rid of that layer. Where is it? Looks like it's moved. Oh no, here it is. Get rid of that layer. And select, deselect. So there should be an object. Where was it going? I 15 degrees out the front there. So up here probably, somewhere there. Hang on, I can see the hole. See that there? I can see it on the original.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to
Looks the same as well.
Unless it's cutting it from... Maybe the layers didn't work. Hang on, let's load the original one and make sure. Where is it? That one? It may be a bug in the program where it's actually copying. Oh no, it's not that one. Okay. Resize. Let's get a pure image again and scale it up. Yeah. What the hell did I do now? There we go. Okay, so it was somewhere above here. So let's grab a chunk of sky. I'm not seeing it now. Resize 1280. Yes, so what can we see? Nothing. Should be going to that. And it looks pretty constant, although we have got some colours there. Oh, there we go. Doesn't look like any UFO or hole in the cloud. There's some interesting pattern there. There is something appearing here. Where's the original going? Let's see. I'll just cut that again. Okay, you can definitely see it there. Definitely it's been brightened though from the original, so there's the original. Definitely the colour's been played around with. Looks more grey there, right? So it looks like a picture from the day though, because you can see it's overcast, right? So it's definitely got to be a picture taken on the day. And yeah, definitely if we apply the same filters to what that one we just did, it goes all black. So you can see here, we should be able to see something over here. And we're not seeing anything over there, unless it's there. It could be that part we're seeing. I don't know, I wouldn't write it off, but it doesn't look like a hole there.
No.
We'd have to line it up, everything. I'd have to put the redo on here. Is it? Where's that gone? It hasn't saved it. But yeah, I don't know. Doesn't look the same, regardless though. So it's been mucked around with. Oh, there you go. That brings it out a wee bit better. I guess seems to be a strange pattern occurring there. I guess they put the original photograph through the software, so we probably can do that too. That one, yeah. But maybe we'll just move on though, because that can take a bit of takes a bit of processing. I think we have got the bookmark to it here somewhere with a photo. Okay, let's upload it anyway. Let's give it a try. Says no. Alright, how do we browse it then?
Ah, that's an interesting site.
Upload
Photo forensics.
Choose file. Okay, so we choose the fake one first. Let's have a look. Upload file. Okay, so when you get something like that, you know it's been added to the original photograph, apparently. There we go.
Okay.
So we got the logo is obviously added, but yeah, that hole in the sky is not showing up though, is it? From what I'm seeing. So definitely that there looks part of the normal scenery there, but these ones obviously brighter, shows error changes. That's called error level analysis for JPEGs. But yeah, if that was faked, then looks like the video is not the original. They said it's actual photograph, but it could have been resaved as a TIFF and then resaved back as a JPEG. But then why would this come up as an error of being edited? Definitely not there, is it? Should be that location here. Should be some white appearing if it's been edited in. Unless the web page got hold of one that was resaved and they've edited it and put their own logo on. That's probably what's happened. So that's no good to us. Let's have a look at another one, the other one. We want the original that's untouched, because we haven't really got that by the looks of it. Yeah, so what have we got on this one? That one looks all normal, you see. There's no really bright bits on it. I don't know. Certainly not conclusive, because we haven't got the original photograph. I thought that might be the case though. But it's good having to play around with that system. So if you can find the original photograph out there, guys, just put it into that and see what you can see if it comes up with white blobs where this hole is. But I suppose I could post the link to it down the side if you want to get access to it. These are all my tools I use. Various things like sky watching, weather, historic weather patterns, or wind speeds and wind direction, meteorites, photo forensic, night sky for tracking International Space Station, rocket launchers database, time conversion, all sorts of other stuff there. So let's just get photo forensic up again, and I'll just copy the link. Anyone that wants to have a play? There you go. And we're supposed to carry on with Rob's thing. So I might just keep those images for my backup here. when I save the live stream tonight, so we can reference it in future if I need to. I'll just close that one down too now. So we've got some other link here from you, Robert, or have I lost it?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm moving on now. I was just looking for like corroborating evidence, airports and UFOs. And I just wanted your opinion on this, Paul, and everyone else's opinion. If anyone's still listening.
No, it's 3 watching.
Okay,
that's
yeah,
pretty good. What's the time in America at the moment? It must be getting early morning in America now, is it? Let's see.
Oh yeah, it would be early morning.
California is always the one I go for. Time. I'm coming up to 4 a.m. here in New Zealand. It's 8 o'clock in the morning in California. So there you go. So that means it must be 11 p.m. on New York side, because it's 3-hour difference between coast to coast. So we got another link here, so let's finish this off with this one.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, I'm starving.
See, we give up the tea breaks and loo breaks. I should have to go to the toilet soon. Because we're wrapped up in UFO investigation. Gatwick Airport shut down. Are you talking about this drone thing they claimed?
Yeah, well, this is the whole thing, you see. I'm not really sure how some spotty-faced kid with a drone can shut down an international airport for 36 hours. I just find that suspicious.
But the videos,
I think there was something there, they didn't know what it was.
But the videos I've seen of it, they definitely look like seagulls, on motion blur and all that sort of stuff. Or small airplanes coming into land. I never really saw any good footage. So what do you want me to look at?
You're familiar with this then?
Yeah. I have talked about it in a news clip on maybe a Sunday thing. I don't know. It didn't come back, and then they said it was two couple that were meant to be doing it, and then they decided that wasn't those two.
Yeah.
Something like
they
that.
arrested them and then released them.
Yeah. But to me, this seemed like a false flag, because soon after this, all the airports, including New Zealand, started to change the regulations of flying drones.
Okay.
How far away from the airport you could be, because a lot of plane spotters, they're at the edge of the airport, right, and they have a drone up in the sky, filming the planes as they're coming into land from above. So they can only go up to certain heights, and now they have to be like 5 miles away from the airports in New Zealand or something, so they can't do that anymore. Okay. So it did change everything around the world, and the laws with drones, and that you have to register them and all this sort of stuff, and that you can be imprisoned and fined $100,000 and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, I can imagine what damage a drone could do if it got sucked in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Into the jet engines. Yeah, it would cause it to fail.
Yeah. But I don't think
bird strike.
I don't think a drone flyer would risk flying his $1,000 drones in front of a incoming plane, though. It kind of seems a bit strange.
I mean, this is. I mean, if just say now, for example, there was something there in the airspace, they didn't know what it was. They're going to have to come out with some kind of story, aren't they, for why the airport's closed down for 36 hours. And I just thought that a drone was a bit lame.
Right. Yes.
I mean, a 14-year-old kid, it sounds more like a terrorist attack than anything else. I can't see some kid with a drone shutting down.
Well, I would like to see what happened if...
over that period of time.
I would like to see like 1,000 drones heading towards Area 51 that was meant to happen, and see if they all dropped out the sky, because I'm pretty sure they got anti-drone defense perfected
Flipping heck.
now.
Of course they have. Absolutely.
They probably can even shoot a EMF pulse gun from the ground upwards, and or knock them all out the air. And then they have all the registration licenses on them, you know, serial numbers and all that, and they're about to track down who owns it and arrest them and all that sort of stuff. But didn't UFO Seeker, he was BSing that he was inside Area 51 with his drone? Wasn't there some footage that he'd put up? And everybody was doubting that he was really in near the location. Because I think even if you flew it outside where those armed guards are at the gate, I'm pretty sure they'd shoot it down. And they would be talking to him. They would be driving up to him, talking to him. I think he got a place in Nevada that looks very similar to Area 51, flew it around. Yeah, I don't like that guy too much. Anyone that lives entirely off the UFO field is always suspect to me, you know. I don't know about yourself. So what do you actually want me to do with this? Isn't it?
I mean, you look at the likes of John Greenwald now. I mean, he's pretty much full-on UFO guy now, isn't he? But I kind of trust him. But some of the others, yeah.
Okay, what did he say?
Really
Say it once. What did he say it was, Robert?
Who now?
The Black Vault. What did he say this drone footage was?
Oh, no! I don't think John has commented on this. I was just talking about people that go into ufology full time in general. You know.
Yeah, I think you have to build up a trust level in the UFO field. Like,
definitely.
You have to prove that you debunk things. You look at your own footage critically, and actually debunk some of it.
Yeah.
But that guy hasn't done it. No, he's still got that anti letter X helium balloon put up as alien anti-gravity craft or black ops.
Well, I mean, it's difficult to say, Bob, because you say you have to build up trust. I mean, you look at people like Greer, Linda Moulton Howe. They've still got a massive following. There's no real credibility to the name. But yet they still have the following, don't they?
Yeah. True. It's like I say, if BS comes in, BS goes out.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I think if you open up stuff to other credible people or even skeptics, run it through skeptics and get their opinion on stuff. And if they all agree, if all the debunkers agree that it's a helium balloon, I think you really should pay attention to that, because as you know, you just said that Mick West will never say it's something that it's not, because his credibility is on the line as a scientist. He's the ego. If he's not sure, he won't say exactly what it is. From what I've seen, he's certain on the Tic Tac one and all that being plain exhaust fumes, right, from far away. But I'm not too sure on that myself. I have my doubts that he's correct, but maybe because we didn't actually see the footage from David Fravor's aircraft. But we saw it from the second person that was went up in the air to film it, or with one of those special pods, FLIR pods, because not all aircraft have it or something, wasn't it? F-18, not all of them have it. Not back in those days. I suppose it was very expensive, maybe. I don't know. There's so much stuff going on with that thing. I sort of lost interest in storing all the facts in your head, and even David Fravor says ignore all the other eyewitness accounts because they're just looking for fame. I'm not sure if he's talking about David. What is his name? David Kevin Day, is it? So yeah, I don't think he likes that one too much. That guy too much for some reason. But yeah, was there any other links to finish off this last case? Because we should really.
No, that's fine. Now we're good to leave the stream. Now, just one more thing. Alice Nodson has asked us about the credibility of a Dr. Michael Sala. Now, I wasn't particularly familiar with this guy. I've just done a quick search, and he's got a lot of books out.
That
US
guy.
Air Force Secret Space Program.
Yeah, he's another good person.
MJ-12 and JFK is MJ-12. That's very controversial for a start.
Yeah.
Michael E. Salas, PhD. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, Alice. I'll have a look into that and hope I can answer your question in a bit more depth.
Well, he's the guy that worked with Corey Goode and David Wilcock.
Oh dear. Well,
and he believes in the secret space program as they explained it, right? Or maybe he doesn't believe in the blue chickens. If he's working with those people,
I can't lend any credibility to the guy then.
Yeah, I think if you look him up on the secret space stuff, you'll see that he's a bit dodgy in what he believes. Yeah, I think he's been taken in by some of the stuff, maybe, because good people do get suckered in at times.
Yeah.
But, Corey Goode, I don't believe, 0, probably -% actually. Blue chickens, we've talked about him before.
Yeah.
And,
same with that David Wilcox guy. He's full of it as well.
Well, both of them have been outed on by the director or the CEO or something to do with the series. That they admitted to him off camera that all of it's BS that they're talking. But you can tell that Corey Goode is BS because he talked about that he was regressed back into his normal age when they took him at 17, was it? And flew him around the galaxy and brought him back. He was an old man and had to regress him back to his school years. But the people that know him at school, he was always there every day, as far as they concerned, at school or whatever. He never disappeared. But I don't know. You're talking about time travel and taking away someone and bringing them back to the point they were taken in time. And I have my doubts about time travel being real and space-time and all that sort of stuff, because I don't think you can travel back in time. But as you know, Il kind of believes in it, space-time and time travel. It's good for sci-fi, but I just can't see it myself, that you could go back in time to see the dinosaurs. Sort of defies logic. But I could believe that what they may be calling time travel might be interdimensional. So you're not actually bending time and space, but you're bending dimensions, and you just go through a portal into another world or another universe where it looks just like Earth, but it's maybe further back in time, like 1 million years in one direction, and then you go another portal, puts you into the future of another universe, which looks like Earth, but it's advanced further 1,000 years. Time
in itself is a controversial thing, because does time really exist?
Well, it's a concept, isn't it? So time moves forward in our perception. But going through portals into other dimensions, time's still moving forward. But each dimension may be a different time period. You know how they talk about time slips. So to me, that makes more sense. That these aliens might be coming from another dimension, which is similar to Earth, and it may be that they had the same DNA as us once, but they evolved into these bored, grey-looking creatures because they were forced underground when the sun died or whatever in their universe, which is identical to our universe, but they're further along, maybe 1 million years or whatever. That's how I can see maybe something that's realistic rather than time travel itself. So you may think we're from the future, but it's actually another race of people in another universe that connects to us, and they found a way to open a portal to jump across universes. To me, that makes more sense. But anyway,
yeah, I think Alice is she's at least got some kind of hold on things here.
well, let's
Truth
see.
next to bullshit. Yeah, quite possible.
The easy way to check up on anyone is always type in the name and type in fraud or something like that. You know, Tyler Klockner fraud or something like that.
Something's going to come up. Something's going to come up, and then you have to make your mind up from there.
So it's Michael. Let's just type his name in.
It's Michael E. Saller.
Michael Salas. Is that it? I got it right?
No, it's Saller. S-A-L-L-A.
Oh, no, S on the end. Fraud.
No S on the end.
That's spelled Michael, right? Yeah, we'll just try that. Here we go. A rational wiki. So what does that say? Sometimes I don't always agree with this.
Pseudo.
Yeah, I don't.
Pseudo scholar. No, I don't trust this site either.
I don't trust it, but it is amusing.
What's scary to me is the guy has got a whole shed load of books out.
Yeah, to make money. So you can do it full time.
Well,
Pseudo scholar and ufologist who created the branch of wingnuttery known as exopolitics.
Yeah.
That's what's that mean again? I suppose we click on that link.
It's just like
I can't remember the terminology. There's a fancy term for extraterrestrial politics. The Greek reference exo means outside. There you go. So that's cleared that up. According to the fantasy, extraterrestrial intelligence has been involved in human affairs since at least the 1950s. Well, I'd say it would go back further than that, wouldn't it? And various treaties exist governing human alien relationships.
I think that's what, when it's talking about the 50s, they're talking about the Eisenhower thing where he supposedly met with aliens and they come to some kind of agreement, which I think is a load of shite.
Yeah, we went over that about the dentist. You know, the dentist should have.
Yeah.
There was no credible proof of it all. Seller was born in Melbourne, Australia. There you go. Is he in America now, is he? PhD, Government Affairs from Queensland. That sort of puts me off straight away. After teaching appointments at various OS institutions. So he did a degree in government, so that's why he formed exopolitics, right? That makes sense. School International. He authored a couple of dozen articles on conflict resolution. That sounds like Dolan's missus. That's what she was doing too. Topics in academic journals. What's her name? Tracy. They invented exopolitics, moved to Kalapana, Hawaii. Oh, right, so that puts them in America. And went into the popular book business, mostly self-published. So yeah, that way you got to do all the work yourself of promoting it and stuff. That's why he goes to all these conferences to sell the books. We know certain people like that. He is listed as course instructor of Exopolitics Institute, along with journalist Paula Harris. Is that how you say name? I suppose that's a Hawaiian name, is it? Paula Harris, a former lawyer. Not getting to all those names. Let's see. Cost of the course is $1,500 plus extras to seminar tuition. So he's making money teaching people his flavour, by the looks of it. That's the same as Dr. Greer is $2,000 per head to contact aliens in the desert. Was also promoted the QAnon Unified conspiracy theory. Okay. So that's it. I suppose we should probably wrap up now then. It looks like you got a visitor. Are you there? Or is he gone? I think I can't really quit while he's away. It looks like his camera's locked up. Apparently, we found out why Robert's having so much camera trouble on the side. He's only got 1 megabit per second upload on his ISP plan. So that's why he always locks up. And when we do Earl from MUFON, he's got a wee bit better plan than that. And so Robert's up in his plan to from 11 megabits per second downloads and 1 megabits per second upwards to 59 down and possibly 11 up, which is like 11 times what we've currently got at the moment. So next time we have him on, we ain't going to get any of this stupid lockup, hopefully. So it wasn't my end, it's his ISP that we figured out. He's also bought a cable, so he doesn't have to do it over Wi-Fi. But it'll probably work okay over Wi-Fi once he uploads his plan. But
well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be like 6 times.
Yeah.
Well, they've guaranteed give me a minimum of 30 MB, so it's going to be a minimum of 3 times faster.
Yeah, so we won't have any of the stupid lockups. But was there anything else you want to say? Because I was going to wrap up with the end credits. And
it's all good.
Yeah, I could see that on the stream they're like 20 seconds behind the side chat here. So that's what Yan was saying, I think, earlier. Which is kind of annoying. You think they would synchronize it. So every type here, it's like matches up when it shows up on the video. But you've got to remember, Robert's in UK, I'm at the bottom of the world in New Zealand, and everybody watching is probably in America or in UK or Europe. It's pretty amazing technology, you know. I've read and watched. We'll just finish off with the side comments here. Read and watched, learned all could over the years. Haven't my companion Shelley has experienced the inexplicable things. Yeah, you got to come on and talk about your sighting. We both watched and thanks so much. Okay, so I'll say good night. And thanks.
Okay, good night all.
For liking and sharing. Let's see, did that type out alright? I did. And I'll just wind down with the credits now. I've got to get to bed soon. 4:20 AM. And this video is probably going to take a couple hours to process, so maybe, I don't know. Actually, it's meant to be daylight savings, so it's going to go an hour forward. I think it's 5:20 in the morning. Is it? Oh no, it should be 3:20 in the morning. This we just... Yeah, daylight savings just kicked in, mate, so now I'm an hour forward from you. So we might have seen that happen.
What time is it there now?
At 3 o'clock here, this time down here would have changed, so I didn't notice it, but it's pushed it an hour forward on the internet clock.
So you're now at like 20 past 4 AM.
So really, to me, it's 20 past 3, but now because of daylight savings kicked in, it's pushed it an hour forward. But yeah, maybe I'll be alright until it's processed, and I'll post it around or whatever. So I'll just say good night and wind down now. It was fun. It was interesting. Hope people enjoyed it. And we need more people to come and watch, don't we?
Yeah, we sure do.
Here we go. It's playing now, hopefully. And you can drop off the side video now if you want.
Okay. Thank you,
Good night, bye, mate. I'll see you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or Discord.